The following program contains adult language and juvenile conversations. Listener discretion is advised.
Oh, boy, man. We got a big surprise for you guys tonight. So big, I don't think any of you will really be able to handle it. I know what it is, and I can't handle it. And when you guys find out, boy, oh boy, are you going to be shocked. I can't wait to hear the news, to let it out to you guys. Wolfie's on the mic. He's going to be telling us, everybody, what's going to happen. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. I'm anticipated. I'm lactating even as we speak. So, what do you say we get this surprise out in the open? Welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 354 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is the world's most dangerous talk radio show and is recorded in front of an undead studio audience at Castle Wolfenstein. We discuss at least one film a week, we argue, we make fun of each other, and we hope to make you laugh, and some hosts might even die trying. Isn't that right, MZ?
I came pretty damn close. Not that you guys gave a shit.
We're going to be talking about that like 40 years from now if we're all still alive.
Yeah. Well, you guys will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on who you had in the Trick or Treat Radio death pool.
I'll be beyond the grave by the time that hits.
Oh, it's gonna be fucking Monster Zero. He'll be the last one.
The most unhealthy.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm the most unhealthy.
Well, you might be the most unhealthy.
Yeah.
You have the body of someone who's not unhealthy. You just treat your body unhealthily.
Yeah, my body's a fucking asshole. All right. I'll be honest with you. You don't know the fucking kind of dick my body is. Fucking, he deserves it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dark, man.
Well, I got some problems, Johnny. We're gonna get darker. I'm sorry, Ron.
Do you need a couch to lay on and put the mic in front of you? You
Or
know,
a pickle?
I'm in the wrong room.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm in. I thought I was in the wrong.
in the red room.
In the red room. Yeah. It's exciting.
It's getting warm in here.
Yeah, I was
think
thinking
it's
about
time
that.
to start breaking out the fan.
The AC.
Yeah.
Hopefully it works this year. Remember,
It's fucking
it
better.
stopped work. Well, it not that it stopped working, but it would occasionally shut down.
Well, this year I think we have to have Raven Shadow move over a little bit. No,
Yeah.
Oh, now block it. Yeah.
Yeah.
fine
we
where
have
it
plenty
is.
of room
You're
now.
done blocking that son of a bitch.
Or
you
we
son
can
of a
move it
bitch.
over there.
Ooh,
Oh
that's
no,
even
it
better.
It has to be near the window actually, so I can't.
Well, as long as that hose. Actually, I can buy a longer hose.
I got your longer hose hand.
Rocky overhang over here. All right, so on tonight's show, we do have an announcement. I don't know if it's as big as MZ was saying, but, well, maybe it is.
Well, I'm pretty stoked about it.
Yeah, it is exciting. So we do have an announcement. We'll talk about that just in a few moments. But on tonight's show, we're going to be talking about the film Shadow from director Zhang Yimou, director of such films as Hero and House of Flying Daggers. So we'll be talking about his latest joint. And then we're going to be doing a double tap later on. I see Raven Shadow brought his Boba Fett luggage practically.
Yeah. I'm checking in, baby.
You going to stay here in this hut studio?
Well.
I'm why are you eating it? The show's been on for like 5 minutes.
You didn't start eating.
Yeah,
until
the
we
show
went-
Why
started.
are you eating?
What the fuck?
Well, I'm sorry. I thought you were gonna be doing your little spiel. I figured I'd have a snack.
And look at the drink he has. This little like
No, it's a
Munchkin Land Ocean Spray pink cranberry juice.
from the fine folks at Ocean Spray. It's it's pink cranberry, 70. I'm not wearing my progressive, 70 calories, and it's nice little cranberry.
Are you
Yeah.
guys seeing the same woman? You have a UTI now?
No, well, and I want to keep it that way, Aries. But no, well, it sucks. I brought food because since Johnny, stopped doing the pizza thing.
Oh
You
yeah.
can stop and get it your fucking self.
There's no place on the way, and the only place
Tony's Pizza.
Are you trying to tell me you have a 30 to 40 minute drive and you don't pass a pizza place?
Not where I go. Yes, I do pass one on
One. I would be willing to bet you pass at
One.
least 6.
No,
Well,
I pass
one
on,
is more than
on
none.
20, but a little overpriced, and I don't want it every week.
Can you make Mama Celeste in the microwave?
Ooh.
We have a
Because
microwave.
we do have a microwave.
Oh yeah, we do. But
Yeah.
the only place I've been going to is a Burger King, and it's not good. It's not.
Yeah,
good
don't
job.
don't do that.
And it's not
You,
even like
you can't get your phone working without Johnny. You can't eat without Johnny. Is there anything that does he hold your dick for you while you take a piss?
Well, I need a spotter.
He thinks
grab
it's
a
a fluffer and goes off like a water wheel.
Dude, grab a
Johnny,
pair
come
of
on, let's work out
tongs.
again. A little clean and jerk. Come on.
Well, speaking of which, you used to have Dr. Joey Tron make eggs for you and like your lady back in the day.
Listen,
Oh,
Because you couldn't even
Jesus.
make fucking scrabby eggs.
So we have experts in different fields, and that was his. area
Making
of
eggs you don't need a fucking expert.
And what's your expertise?
I don't want to talk about it. Well, but we're in another room, and he makes the eggs. But no, you help your partners.
And where do you come in with the help? What's your ability to help?
I got us the house.
Okay, for years, Johnny was getting you pizza.
Yes. Well, not a
Yeah,
year.
what did you do for
What,
me?
what was
Yeah.
your...
Yeah.
I financially reimbursed him.
Oh,
And
for
So you
crying
paid
out
me
loud.
back the money I paid for your pizza.
well, yeah, but you know, I really appreciate it. I send you good vibes, and I sent you a lot of good thoughts, and I thought about you a lot.
I think you should have
And
given him
I
more money.
I said nice things about you.
Yeah, I should charge you like a $4 delivery fee or something.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
a delivery fee. I mean, maybe an extra buck, but I mean, if you
What fucking cheap ass? A
What?
buck?
well, if you no,
You give a delivery
no.
person a buck?
No, I'm glad you said that. I want to get out in the open. No, I do. I tip very, very well when the pizza guy comes to.
How much?
At least $5 from the top, 5 to 6.
And you didn't give me anything.
You want some? You want to cheese it? Can you
No,
have cheese it?
no.
Why? It's got cheese.
Those are
it
not
gets it.
vegan, first of all. So let me go back in time. How many years did I get you pizza? Probably like, what, 2 years?
I don't know if it was years.
It's definitely
Plural.
years.
It was
No,
definitely
definitely
years.
And it was probably maybe not 52 weeks, maybe like 50. So I think that's 100 episodes at $4 a piece. Let's say I don't want the full 5 because it was a small pizza. So you owe me $400.
I gave you $6.
Well, you
I know, but I'm
He's
charging you
calculating the
$4 tip.
Oh.
So $400, please.
Yeah, it's take PayPal.
Do you do PayPal?
Yes, but you don't have
But
PayPal.
when I
so-
figure it out, you're the first
he
one.
has
but no.
it, but you don't do
But
it.
I think it was established. It reinforced, I should say, it reinforced the connection that we have with food.
Oh God!
And I think that's a special thing that you and I share, and I miss it. And I'm willing to try. People enjoyed the veg talk.
Okay, so you had a nice bonding over food. Did you actually ever invite him out and repay him by buying him a nice meal?
Yes.
When?
When? Yeah.
When?
Well, then you went and, converted.
To
and
what?
then-
Converted to what? He still eats.
And how many times a week? Yeah, I still eat.
No, what? You want to come over and
No, not
I'll
come
make it-
over.
Why?
No,
Take him
you
out
said take-
to
yeah.
a nice
Take
meal.
him out.
I will take you to.
You gonna take me
Candles,
out?
wine.
I'll take you out.
You gonna
yeah.
wine and dine me?
Yeah, let's film it. That'd be
him out.
exciting.
Well, funny you say that.
Oh, a segue, Johnny.
And look at this. He's a cheap date because he doesn't eat any meat. All he eats are fruits and vegetables.
Well, to be
so
fair-
he's a cheap date.
To be fair, a lot of times vegan food's more expensive.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. But I want to
Maybe
try
in the
things.
vegan restaurants though.
so Raven Shadow brings up a very good point
Thank
and
you.
something that leads to our big announcement. So, if we did film something like that, Raven Shadow, we would need a medium for people to see it, right?
A platform.
A platform, yeah. And, we could put it on YouTube, I guess. We could put it on the Facebook group. But you know what? Like, we could have people potentially help support us, and in return, they got bonus content, right? Is
What
that
the hell are you talking about, Johnny?
Something extra.
something extra?
Not for everybody, because if you put it on those methods, anyone could watch it.
Right.
It's not
so,
special.
So for a while, we've been doing the show almost 7 years. We're coming up on 7 years. Like, it's 6 years and like 10 months right now.
Yeah.
And we've been a free show. We've relied on the generosity of some of our friends out there. Speaking of which, Evil Corny's hanging out in the chat room right now.
dude.
He gives
Yeah.
us a $5 donation every single month, and he has it set up to auto deduct from his account. on PayPal. But you know what? That's kind of a pain in the ass, right?
Which one?
PayPal.
Yeah, I don't, that's fucking odd, dude.
Right, Raven Shadow?
Fuck PayPal, dude. I don't even know what that's. I'm not even gonna use
So
that.
I'm going to tell Corny right now. Corny, I want you to go ahead and I want you to cancel that $5 from PayPal. Let's cancel that right now, okay? And then what I want you to do is I want you to go to another place. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, buy Raven Shadow a pizza with.
Yeah, you could do that. You could. But I want Corny and everyone else to go over to this website. You can go to patreon.com/trickortreatradio. And there, you're going to find a way to help support the show. It's all there. We're finally on Patreon, guys.
Shit.
We did it.
Finally.
We've hit the big time.
No, we haven't hit
Top
the
of
big
the
time.
world, Ma.
And you know what the big motivator for this was? You had to get, if you wanted, they were actually raising their prices. And if you got it up before May 7th, you got grandfathered into the old pricing. So since it was started 2.5 years ago, I figured I'd finish it up.
I wonder how many new Patreons there are out there that thought the way you did.
I don't know, actually. It'd be interesting. I wonder if they were just trying to drive things a little further, get people interested in it. So, yes, the big announcement, everyone, we are now on Patreon. And we have a plan in place to get some bonus content up on there. It'll be monthly. I don't know. There may be more than one episode. It all depends on how things shake out. And right now, I'll quickly, I don't want to spend too much time on this because, it's not super exciting to read a web page. But you guys can obviously go look at it. Like I said, patreon.com/trickortreatradio. And there you're going to find everything you need to know. We have 5 tiers. There's the aptly named Help Keep the Lights On tier. So for $2 or more per month, basically you get to help support us, and we'll call you out periodically on the show, and we would appreciate it. So if you guys just want to get in and just help support us, you can get in at $2, and you can give any denomination, but it starts at $2. Next tier is the treat tier, $5 or more per month. You get our unending gratitude, and you also get to hear exclusive audio content created specifically for Patreon supporters. So if anyone out there has never done Patreon, what they do is it creates an RSS feed. Raven Shadow, just close your ears because I know you're not going to know what this is. But it creates an RSS feed, and what you can do is you put that into your podcast player. So whether it's Apple Podcasts, whether it's on Google Play or whatever, they typically have an option to add subscribe to a podcast from a URL. You take the URL that we send you, you plug it in, and then it adds a new feed. So you can basically listen to it right from your podcast player of choice. If people have issues with that, I could probably post up some help videos so people can know exactly how to do that. But so for $5 a month, you get extra content. It's extra audio content. And then the next tier up, dear God, yes, $10 per month. You get all of that plus a bonus video show. We're going to be doing kind of, if you guys have ever seen any of the crypto casts that we did, kind of in that sort of, or like the promos that we used to do before, like to advertise for the shows. It'll be, us in front of the camera, just kind of talking about whatever. We may do some additional stuff. We may film Raven Shadow going out to eat. Yeah. We may do a Raven Shadow cribs like we talked about, or crips, if you will.
Oh, we're getting ready.
So we have some other cool ideas, and obviously we're going to solicit some info from you guys about what you want to see. And that's the $10 tier. You'll get access to that. And as of right now, we don't have any plans to release this other than Patreon. I mean, eventually we might, but it's not like you get a sneak peek of it like a couple days before it becomes available. It's exclusive to Patreon, and we don't have any plans right now for anything else. So there's that. And then the next tier up is Bambaleo, $20 per month. Now, the $20 tier is limited. It's exclusive. There's only 12 available. And what happens is you get everything that we talked about before, the audio, the video, the gratitude, and you also get to help us program an episode of Trick or Treat Radio and have the option of appearing as a guest co-host if you wish. Some people may not want to. Maybe they just want to program it. They don't want to come on, or maybe it's tough to schedule because we do, obviously, the show on Wednesday evenings. So if you can't make it, we'll figure something else out. You can send us a voicemail, whatever. But we'll make it work. So if you guys want to do that, it's $20 a month for that tier. There's only 12 available. So if that's something that interests you, hop on that. And then we also have, finally, treat of the highest order, the $30 tier. We don't necessarily... I don't know if people are going to be into this. This is typically not what podcasts. A lot of podcasts that we are friends with typically have $1, $5, $10. But we want to add more value. And with this, we're giving you everything previous, so you get to book a show, appear on as a guest, audio, video, gratitude, all that stuff. And this tier, as long as you subscribe, as long as you're in this reward tier for at least 6 months, we will send you, at the end of that 6 months, a Trick or Treat Radio prize box. Now, we're still working out of the details, but there's going to be some cool stuff in it. So if you guys know about the Loot Crate or all these sort of like subscription-based boxes of treats, we're going to do something like that. One thing I can guarantee you, there will be a Raven Shadow 8x10 in there.
There should be a lock of his hair in there as well.
Maybe.
Oh no, that's how you do voodoo. You can't have that. You can't do that, man. That's bad.
We did. We got our first patron.
Oh.
Yeah.
Will Kleinheinz.
Whoa,
Thank
Babaleo,
you.
Will.
Thank
So
you.
there you go.
Oh.
Look at that.
And the other thing I wanted to mention is,
Will's the man.
so this is May 8th right now. And so for the entire month of May, for everyone that buys into our Patreon, that gives to the Patreon, has the opportunity to win one of these prize boxes. We're going to do a very special prize box. So it doesn't matter which tier you get into. You can be in any of the tiers. And what we'll do is, I think what we'll do is we'll weigh it like we normally do with the contest. So if you're in the $2 tier, you get 2 entries. Do the $5 tier, you get 5 entries. Do the $30 tier, you get 30 entries.
Holy shit.
How about that? Just to make it so for the people who give more, they have a slight chance to get higher. And what we'll do is we'll do the random number generator that we always do, and the one person that wins that will get a Trick or Treat Radio prize box. And in that, we're talking about some cool stuff that we want to do. So there's going to be some exclusive stuff that you can't get anywhere else. So as we continue to go along, we'll give you guys more information, and we'll obviously update on the Patreon as well. So keep an eye out on the Patreon page. We'll give updates, and we do plan on making a Patreon video. We just wanted to get that up and going, but we're trying to figure out the time that we're gonna to plan it out, and we're gonna do some more stuff. So this is exciting for me.
It's exciting. I mean, it's fucking absurd, right? We've been doing this for fucking almost 7 years.
Almost 7 years,
Yeah.
And come a long way. And I think really what this is, not only it allows us to like Johnny said, keep the lights on. But if we've come this far, we came from flip phones. We came from, shitty connections, almost a Campbell soup can, to being in the original Castle Wolfenstein, to now the studio. What more could we do if we have the means to do it?
Right.
Exactly.
Like, and I don't want to pull the curtain too far back, but a lot of this has been out of my pocket, and not because of these guys not wanting to. These guys have offered to pay, but I've just been like, no, I'll take care of it. And, and so building a studio, to renting out the studio, to getting internet for it, all this stuff, like the money adds up, and I love doing it. But there comes a time when it's like, it's a lot of money that's coming out every month to do this, and there's nothing coming back in return except for, some things here and there. This will help us, knowing how much we get monthly will help us to sort of like choose the direction moving forward of what we're going to do. So this is going to be huge for us. And we just had another one. Marion just...
Babaleo.
So
Thank
you
you.
very
Thank
much,
you.
Marion. That's very kind of you. We appreciate it. And... Corny canceled his PayPal payment. That son of a bitch.
What the fuck, Corny?
No, I told him to. So I imagine
He was kidding.
So I imagine Corny, or maybe he's like, screw those guys.
Maybe pissed him off. Way to fucking
Yeah.
go.
Well, it was you, I think.
No, Corny likes me very much.
Why,
okay?
why don't you write him a letter and mail it and tell him how much you hate him?
Yeah.
What? I
Go
hate
ahead,
him.
Go
I
ahead and
love
mail
him.
that
Well, how
letter.
Yeah,
much
he'll
you
see that in
disapprove?
2 years.
Oh, well, listen. No. I'm actually. I have things on deck for tomorrow. I have 8x10s going out in the mail.
I don't believe it.
It's true.
Make a video. We'll put you
Right,
bonus
all right,
content.
Yeah,
bonus
that-
content.
That's your
All right,
bonus
all right,
content
all right.
right there.
All right. I
Do you
know
not have
someone
film with your new phone yet?
I got 2 cameras on it.
God
You
damn
probably
it.
have 3.
They were trying to tell me I'm on 3. I'm like, slow it down, motherfucker. I'm like, why is there 2 of them?
Even Evil Corny says, "Damn, Raven Shadow thinks Wolfie is his manservant."
No. I applaud Johnny, and I think I just admire him, and I think he elevates me and all of us, and I just want to support him by giving him good words and good vibes. Right?
Sure.
Yes,
if you say so.
Because vibes do a whole hell of a lot, you know.
Well, I know I like Johnny. I like you very much. I like you guys. I like Aries. He's getting upset too. He always does this when I talk about Johnny. And I love you so much.
I'm surprised you can talk with your lips wrapped around his asshole. Like that.
Wow.
Oh, you see that? You see that?
I didn't even know. I didn't feel it.
No, because I'm fucking gentle, okay? Because I'm a fucking gentle.
Yeah, no
fucking
teeth,
person.
no teeth. Okay, no
Yeah,
teeth.
no, the beard's fucking nice and soft. No, listen, don't
The
be
anal
crass.
flap will bite down on that.
I ain't kissing your ass. I'll tell you that fucking much. And you're pretty cool, MZ. But no, I think what we're all trying to say is thank you to listeners.
Yeah.
And we could do more. We could do tons of content.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are the reason
Millions
why
of
we do
content.
this.
Well, and and some self. What word am I looking for? Congratulatory.
Yeah.
No,
What did El Goro say? What a dose of narcissism. And,
Yeah.
I just do this so I can yell at you guys.
that's fair. Yeah.
So and also for the different. So for our goals, those that we talked about the tiers. For our goals, we have 5 goals. So basically, what I'm going to do is if we hit. So for this prize box that we're going to do for all of our patron supporters in the month of May, everyone who becomes a patron supporter in May gets entered to win this. Now, the more tiers we hit, the higher the cooler the prizes will be. So once again, I can't talk about it right now because nothing is set in stone. But I've sent some messages out there with some cool ideas. So. If we hit our first tier, which basically will cover our web hosting, podcast hosting, and like the subscription for like XSplit and all these other things, when we hit that, that's $50. That's our goal. Is we want to try to hit that by the end of the month. But we also have the next goal, which is $100 per month. If we're able to hit that, then we can bump up our internet, which obviously helps the speed for doing a live show, and whatever else we want to do in the future is going to help. And then we have another tier where we're looking to hopefully replace some of the equipment that we have here. And then beyond that is to seriously upgrade the studio with new furniture, with new video equipment, new lighting, things like that. So it progressively gets higher. And as we do that, we also are going to add more stuff. So for instance, let me just pull it up here because I forget all the details. Because I just spent a lot of time working on it this past few days. But
Did a really good job, Johnny.
thank you. So we're already 27% complete to our first goal.
Damn.
So there you go.
Thank you.
So the third goal, we're 6% complete there. On that one, if we hit this goal, what we're going to do is we're going to allow the community to select films for us to do audio commentary for. So we're going to do audio commentary if we hit that third goal.
That's going to be fun.
So we will sit here in studio, we'll watch a movie, we'll do a commentary over it, and we'll drop that. That's Patreon exclusive. So, and then the next tier, this is kind of a lofty goal. I believe it's 500 a month. If we hit that, what we're going to do is, because we will have upgraded some of our equipment, and if we hit that, we'll begin filming spoofs of your favorite scenes from film as voted on by the community. So we'll put up a list of different ones, and we're going to make spoofs. So you guys may have seen we did a Miami Connection spoof video.
Oh, God, I remember that.
And then we did the Monster Zero Tuck Dance video, which no one has seen aside from Stephanie Wiley and us, and maybe Jarrett Blinkhorn. A couple.
Aries hasn't seen it yet.
He doesn't want it. He doesn't want it.
Oh, come on.
So we'll do more stuff like that. We'll do spoofs of films, and you guys will help vote. So if we can hit that, we'd get some really cool content.
Yeah.
And then if we hit our ultimate goal, which is a very lofty goal. I'm not even going to tell you guys how much it is yet, and we're at 0% complete. If that gives you any indication, if we hit that, we do two podcasts a week. We do one video show a week, and we do a lot more. So, it's a lofty goal. I don't anticipate we're going to hit it, but I wanted to put it out there just in case, because you just never know. So right now we have 3 patrons. We got someone else?
That's fucking awesome.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Corny.
Bombaleo, Corny.
Corny.
Welcome back.
All right.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back, Corny.
It was like a 10-minute break where he wasn't supporting us.
Oh, man.
But
Yeah.
Fuck
Woo.
those guys. Fuck them in their ear.
And Will is actually in the chat room. I don't know that Will's been in the chat room before, but he goes by Code Blue. And he says,
man.
"Damn, didn't think I'd be first. Thanks for all the great content. You're
man.
very welcome, Will." And
Thank you.
we literally just made it live yesterday, and I was just kind of going through, making sure there's no typos, no egregious errors, and then we're just wanted to announce it live. So no one knew about it except for the guys in this room before the show went live. So so it means a lot that you guys are jumping on so soon. So like I said, we'll talk about this maybe a little bit later, but also throughout the next several weeks. Everyone who becomes a Patreon supporter in May, and if you want to support, patreon.com/trickortreatradio. If you become a patron supporter, you get entered into a contest. And every dollar you spend will give you 1 entry. So let's say you give just $2, you get 2 entries, you give 5, you get 5, so on and so forth. And we'll pick a winner, and at the end of that, we're going to send a prize pack to that winner. We've, in the past, had some pretty cool stuff. We had some exclusive Derek Rook artwork.
Oh, yeah.
We've had DVDs. We've had Blu-rays. We've had comic books from signed comic books from Alex DeCampi. Yeah. We had some other cool stuff. A Gore Zone from Tony Timpone, right?
Tony Timpone, yeah.
All those movie posters?
Movie posters. So we've
We've
typically gotten some cool stuff, and we're going to continue to do more of that. So just if you need extra incentive, that's the incentive right there. So, and we do plan, the higher up we get in the tiers, we plan to produce some merch as well. I know that's something we've really kind of sucked at, but we will be doing that as well as we get higher up. Raven Shadow, you gonna fill us in on what's going on in that phone? You just keep smiling at your phone.
Stay
Are
tuned.
Wait, you're probably looking in your phone app, looking at yourself, right? Is that why you're smiling?
No, it's not on my phone app. But no, I'm working some stuff out. I'm trying to go on. I'm gonna try to be a Patreon.
Okay. Yeah, lots of luck with that.
You don't need to support the show.
Oh, good.
I mean,
But you could slide a 5 spot across the desk if you.
Yeah.
and
Especially
I'll
towards
put
him.
that. I'll put that towards your tip.
To
the
the
tips
pizza?
that you owe me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your phone again? A Samsung what?
I'm glad you asked, Johnny. It's a Samsung S10e
Johnny.
from the fine folks at Samsung.
I got a Samsung.
Is it an S10e?
It is a S.
He's got to look.
Yeah, you got You were fucking breaking my balls.
Galaxy S9.
Yes.
Oh, Raven Show's is better.
Oh my God, so much better.
Yeah, like he'll be able to.
It's 10 times better.
He would be able to get into like maybe 98% of what that phone can do.
How many letters does your phone have too? So I have a 10 and then I have an E after it. Well, how many letters are after your 9?
I got an S, just 1 letter.
But his is a Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yours isn't a Galaxy.
Yeah.
Oops. Galaxy's a fake. It's a fake Galaxy. No, this is cool though. No, it's very exciting. So I was just having a little communication, working some stuff with the fans. That's what I'm doing.
That wasn't the look of someone who was interacting with the fans.
You don't even know. See, that's the thing. You don't even know what I'm doing behind this
He
microphone.
has a pretty
No,
good
but
idea. We all have a pretty good idea. Everyone listening has a pretty good idea.
No, I'm doing some stuff.
some stuff.
I'm working
Great.
some. Yeah, you're gonna see that little bit. You're gonna like it.
I want to play poker with you sometime.
Stuff.
Stuff. Yeah, I don't play cards. I'm really good at asshole.
That would be cards.
Well, yeah, I know, but drinking games. I can play drinking games. I'm not really good at like regular like cards.
Poker.
Poker. Yeah. No, I don't do that. But I'll be present like a motherfucker, an asshole. Oh, Look at that for the fans. Bamboleo.
How's that?
That's fucking sexy, right? That's
Aries,
right.
are you seeing it?
I can see that. Raven Shadow and his girlfriend.
It's my companion, Oliver.
Raven Shadow and his new 8x10. Is that will be included?
Please.
We don't even know,
can't-
but that's nice.
Is that seriously going to be the 8x10?
Who knows? The fans demand. That's Oliver on his golden pillow. That's and that's not Sears Portrait Studio. That's right in the Raven Chateau. And
Oh yeah, no, I can see that. I'm a little disturbed by that because you posed for that.
well, it was it was.
Who took-
If you were a little technologically advanced, I'd inquire whether you set the timer on your phone.
No, I'd help.
Someone do that.
And what's with your right hand? Where it's like wrapped around the dog's throat.
I'm holding the dog. Look over there.
that
That's
dog
nice.
wants to run away.
No, that's Oliver. He's my companion. He's a buddy.
Wait.
I'm your buddy too. I want to run away from you.
Well, I ain't gonna hold you. You can't sit on the golden pillow. I'll tell you that much. You can sit on the orange rug floor, motherfucker. No, that's nice. Isn't that nice? A dude and his dog.
Golden pillow.
Bitchin' bastard.
Yeah.
Oliver's looking handsome these
Yeah,
days.
he's
I haven't
handsome,
seen him
yeah.
in a while. Yeah.
He actually looks kind of shelterish right now. That was from a couple of weeks ago. But
Did you cut off a paw? What is going on?
Yeah. What did you do to
what are you
him?
talking about?
Abuse.
You're
Pull a
choking
paw
him.
off? Could you have him tied down?
You're
I was
holding him
holding
against
down.
his will.
Oh, hush.
It's like you got him in a headlock or something.
No, we're hanging out. We're watching movies.
Did you misery him? Break
Where's
that?
it? That's fucking crass. That's fucking crass. But no, he's going to see his friend Nikki on Saturday.
Ooh.
To get his haircut. Yeah, Mama.
Oh.
No,
I thought it was like girlfriend or something.
Fucking
no,
corny.
that's Ruby, the next door neighbor's
Yeah,
dog.
that's fun.
But
Oh.
but no, he's going to see his haircut. He's getting his trim. He's going to get his Kosovo haircut, like he's being drafted.
Jesus.
You getting him high and tight?
Yeah. You can't though, because you got it, because it's fucking tick season's coming. Those fuckers.
Oh, God damn it.
What's your
Boy.
8x10?
It's at the store, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
Good. That's nice. So, basically, what we're trying to say, I think what everyone's trying to say is that there's potential for new content. And
There
we
is.
can
There's
we
a
can
lot
add-
of potential
thank
for
you.
new
Yeah.
content.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
so we're going to put together a plan. We're going to talk to our patrons and solicit their feedback.
Mhm.
We want to, do stuff that you guys are into. And I know that recently we had, I think it was our boy Andy from across the pond. He had asked if we were going to do a Endgame spoiler-filled episode. And you know what? It doesn't really fit in Trick or Treat Radio's timeline or continuity on the normal show, but now we have the ability to do special shows, right?
Yeah.
So we could potentially do stuff like that. So what we'll do is we can, once we start getting some more patrons, we can put up for a vote and see what people would like to do. And if there's a lot of things that people want, we can do more than one, or do a show with a couple topics. So we'll continue to work on that, and we'd love you guys' feedback too. If you guys have thoughts about different tiers, or if you have reservations about the pricing of the tiers, or whatever. If you have anything, please feel free to reach out to us and let us know. Obviously, you can do so through social media channels, or also podcast at trickortreatradio.com is the email, and I always have access to that, so I'll get back to people as soon as I can. Or I think you can probably ask on Patreon as well if you want. So yeah, Patreon finally took the plunge. We've been trying for about 2 or 3 years to make it happen, and now seemed like the right time, especially with that getting grandfathered into the old price point. It seemed to help. So we got it done. It's out there. We'd love for you guys to help make the show better and to help us keep the show going, because it is pricey. As I said, we have a studio, we have internet. I basically built a studio. I have a mixer, I have all these mics, so I've basically essentially built a podcast studio, and we have web hosting, we have podcast hosting, all these monthly fees. We have XSplit that we pay for.
XSplit?
As you've noticed, we haven't done an XSplit yell in a while. It's because we pay for it now. So there's a few other things, and it does add up, and it comes all out of all out of my pocket, and it would be nice to be able to do this and break even. That's really all I care about.
Do it for Johnny. Seriously.
So that's all we'll talk about the Patreon for now. But if you guys, I know we have some people hanging out in the chat room. I know people will listen to this on the podcast on Friday. Once again, patreon.com/trickortreatradio. And now we don't have to do as much shilling at the end because that's where we want people to go. If you want to, we do have a store on trickortreatradio.com. There's some digital content. And we also will never stop wanting you to use our link on Amazon because really it's free money and it doesn't cost them any extra, Raven Shadow.
But it helps keep the lights on.
Right, so now there's multiple ways to keep the lights on.
It's a lot of lights,
Wait,
John.
yeah, we need another light then.
Oh, well, I mean, this thing is really ugly. It doesn't do us any favors in terms of lighting the room. So I would like to get some better lighting.
I don't know. It's better than what we've ever had before.
Well, I actually like when I pulled the professional lights in here, but
Oh,
that
that
just
I remember,
became,
but
that
was
became
getting-
too much of a pain in the ass. And
That
people
was
were gonna,
too much.
Yeah, people were going to trip over them. And
Yeah, I don't know if we need more lights, Johnny. We just need
we different lights.
consistent light. How about Christmas lights?
Maybe. But if you think back to the old studio at my place, it was a little dark.
It was.
Gee, do you think?
So we could maybe do something like that, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, there's some
We'll all
candles.
see. We'll all see what our patrons help us, and then we'll go from there. So
But thank you all who've jumped
Yeah.
in so far.
Yes,
we really
all
fucking appreciate it.
Patreons. Thank you very
Yes.
much so far.
thank you so far, and we look forward to seeing more people help us out. And like I said, everyone who becomes a Patreon supporter in this month of May is entered into the contest to win the Trick or Treat prize pack. So there you have it. We should probably move on. It's getting a little late.
Oh, creepy girl just showed up.
Oh, nice.
Bambaleo. All right, tell her about it.
How's it
No,
going,
no,
baby?
Do it over again.
No.
No.
She can go back. She says, hi, everyone, sneaking in some Trick or Treat radio work.
Nice.
What do you say to that, MZ?
Thanks, babe.
Oh, boy. All right. So let's do some intros. How about that? You guys want to do that? Well, speaking of intros,
Oh.
did you guys happen to notice I changed things at the beginning?
I did. That was cool.
Yeah.
what'd you think?
No, I didn't.
I literally wrote it before the show. So I don't know how it went over. But, once again, it's been almost 7 years. I feel like things stagnated a little bit. And I want to try to mix it up a little bit,
There you go.
So we'll try to, you might see some more changes here and there, try to freshen things up a little bit. So if you guys have any recommendations, please, we'd love to hear them. But, just figured I'd try to mix it up a little bit and try something new. Let's get to some intros, though. I am Johnny Wolfenstein, the pencil pusher and producer of media for Trick or Treat Radio and I guess the Deadites. The Deadites don't really do any media, though, right now, anyways. So we'll see. We'll see. We also have the vulgar guru of horror. Oh, sorry, I'm going in the wrong order now. 'Cause
Wow.
I'm
You
not,
just said go
I gotta
fuck
move,
yourself.
I gotta
No,
move.
that feeling isn't affected by the order of the announcements.
Okay. Okay.
So continue.
We also have the vulgar guru of horror, star of Blood Pig's Fetus, the upcoming Morbid Tales, and Septic, one-time contributor for Horror Hound magazine, and the architect of disrespect, Monster Zero.
Hey, can you dig it?
Not when you say it like that.
No.
Wow.
Can you dig it?
Can you fucking dig it?
There you go. We also have the chain-smoking, hand-kissing, baby-shaking, lorazepam-loving, former comic book reading nerd, the official smoke chamber for Castle Wolfenstein, the pimp of promotions, the Italian rapscallion, professional bullshitter, the cool principal, the proprietor and secretary of the Sexy Speakeasy, Mr. Runtime, the Duke of Degeneracy, and the Parisian Brewhall himself, Michael Ravenshadow.
I'm confused. Did you do Aries already, or is...
Oh, someone's
worry.
feeling is hurt that
Are-
he's
are
not
you
last.
really-
You
No,
want to
I'm
be
just-
last?
I'm just thrown
Oh
off.
my
I'm
God!
just thrown off.
I
just-
saw that look. I saw that look. You were like, "Mother, I'm not last. I'm not last."
Well, see, because last week, after Johnny did his own intro, then he went to you, myself, and then
Right, I went
whatever
in
your name
order,
is.
Right,
but
right.
but I had the way I have them written down on
Which
my
didn't-
on my notes. I still had Aries in the other spot,
Yeah.
so that's why I
Yeah.
just jumped right to MZ.
and you know what? The order doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't, but it
Oh, it
throws me
does
off.
to it does to
It
him.
does to him.
Does
I'm,
to
I'm
him.
trying to bring you into the rest of our world.
Jesus, why can't you be normal?
Really? Fucking...
Yeah, why can't you be normal?
Yeah, fucking...
If you realize it doesn't matter, then why was like your eyes hit your glasses? Like,
But But no, but it throws off the national the
The
national rhythm.
national
Yes,
crisis.
it's a fucking-
It is a national
it's affecting
crisis.
America. The national crisis of unlike Vietnam, there are rules here, and there's certain like orders, and like I don't know, like it should be
Unlike Vietnam?
yeah,
Yeah, because
Are
there
you
were a
really-
lot.
rules.
There was a lot of rule and order in Vietnam.
Is this your personal Vietnam?
It feels like it.
Guess what? You're losing it.
Yeah.
Aries is going to go last all the time then.
No. And it's just,
See?
no.
Doesn't like that.
No, Aries, he does this. He waits for these moments.
I do.
He does, see?
Oh no,
See?
I'm all about this.
You're getting upset over the
I'm
whole
not
thing.
upset. I'm not upset. No, it's good.
You're even making it. The fact that you're even making it an issue is an absolute joke.
It's not an issue.
Did you miss the part where I said I come here to fight with you guys?
Yeah, well, no, I just
See,
it
this
just
is
threw me off.
this is it. I'm hard right now. Okay.
Ooh, there he is. It's a fucking Patreon.
Oh,
video.
guess what? You know what? I'm gonna own this intro. Johnny hit it.
I wasn't ready. Come on. All right. We have the Triumph Riding, stage directing, whiskey drinking, chief of security, the warrior of nor'easters, America's sweetheart,
Jesus.
Rick Rubin's stunt double, he drinks and breaks things, Aries, god of war.
Oh, great! Now we got another one that
Best
counts
intro
how many.
ever.
Oh man, I'm hard now.
Now,
How do you do
great.
that every week? I'm out of breath.
That's
Great,
I know.
great. We got another one that counts how many nicknames he's got in his intro. Great. Now there's two of them. Wonderful.
Is that what it looks like? Oh, all right.
Yeah. See how stupid
You're
it
gonna
looks?
stop that now?
Feel like an ass now, don't you?
No, I just, he's used to things, used to a natural rhythm. Like Aries supposed to sit here. And that fucking throws me off too.
What kind of threw me off is the fact that you didn't do it.
Do what?
This.
Well, because I was all thrown off. Because I'm like, wait, I didn't hear Aries yet. Normally
He was
it's a
still
thing.
processing.
Yeah.
I'm not last.
I need a high internet speed. I gotta process faster.
Christ.
No, it's nice. Fine, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Wait, we just lost a Patreon.
Oh, we lost all of them. Jesus Christ, Raven Shadow.
Aries fucked it up for everybody.
No, you fucked it up.
No, because no.
I gave him more.
You did. You gave. It was so nice. That was for the live show. Definitely check that out. Time stay. It was fucking sexy. I like that. That was good. I'm gonna talk about you now. That's exciting. No, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Every show could be someone's first.
We know a lot of them is going to be there last.
No, this is exciting. I think everyone's trying to say is that, it's,
You know what? I really get nervous when you say everyone.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want you speaking for me ever.
No, I'm not. But I think what you're
No,
thinking.
no.
No, I think that
He's still
I think-
still speaking for him.
Nope.
I think if I could peel back your mental curtain, I would pluck out something intelligent to say. Bambaleo. No, I think we're all having fun, right? I can say that. No? All right.
Maybe.
All right.
Some more than others.
How you doing, Corny? Give me a call
why did
Sunday.
Corny all of a sudden just go hi?
Thank you, buddy.
Oh, it's just saying hi to creepy girl. I think.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Whew. All right. So, I guess we can start to move on.
Nice.
Finish this up. Wrap this up, Raven
Yes.
Shadow.
Ooh.
We can take an intermission.
Ooh.
I think that's the new term for a break now.
Yeah.
MZ, did you do anything this past week for
we'll
3
pick-
hours
we'll-
without pissing?
Yeah, shitting.
You shit for 3 hours without pissing?
Wow. He's been doing his fucking Kegel exercises.
How, did you do anything for 3 hours? Did you sleep for more than 3 hours without pissing?
I did.
Well, it's amazing. Did you call the news?
No.
Hello, news. Yeah, it's Monster Zero. Is Channel 5 there?
Yes, I would like to talk to Joyce Cole Haywick.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
I went
Yes.
3
Hello?
hours without pissing.
I went 3 hours without pissing. Will that put me on the top of the show? It will. Oh, thank you.
Murder, death, AIDS, Republicans, and Monster Zero.
He went 3 hours and 3 minutes without taking a piss.
Holy shit. And the Red Sox were almost hitting 500, so we're doing pretty good.
Oh, tonight at 11. So
Say your VCRs.
say your VCRs now.
VCRs.
Oh man. All right. So also, patreon.com/trickortreatradio. We have the website, trickortreatradio.com. You can still use that Amazon link. If you shop on Amazon, we still get a cut of that. Doesn't cost extra, as we established. We already said that bit. But also we have the store with some digital content, Trick or Treat Radio Greatest Hits Volumes 1 through 3. So give that a look there. And all right, Raven Shadow.
Yes.
You sit down to watch Shadow. What did you do to prepare for this movie?
Oh, I was fucking tired, Johnny. Because I worked the last May, whatever the fuck, May 4th, I think it was, the first Saturday in May.
FCB.
FCBD.
FCBD, yeah.
I worked my first free comic book day at the local funny book store. And it was fucking crazy. I can tell you, I never worked that day. I've worked the St. Patty's Day Parade, which sucks balls. I've worked PAX East. I've worked, some cons. I've worked big events in the city. But this was the biggest day the store has. And they weren't kidding. The lines were fucking outside the door. Like it was longer than a fucking Endgame concession stand fucking line. But no, it was a really cool event. And I gotta say, like when Free Comic Book Day first started about 18, 19 years ago, I want to say it was the first May that the Sam Raimi Spidey flick dropped. And they're really not good. I mean, they're pretty much like pamphlets or ash cans. You might have 3 pages of story and the rest is just ads. They were, what do you want for nothing? Your money back? But
Any chicks for free?
Well, that they don't have a day for that yet. That might get more traffic than the Free Comic Book, I'll be honest with you. But no, they've really upped their game. There was like 49 different titles and like real books. So it was great. It was great to see just families come in, and it just kind of shows the new era. No longer really being in a nerd closet, and just that all ethnicities, all the genders were represented, and it was really,
genders,
all the genders. It was nice. All different people, and I gotta say, big ups to the kid, the Nightwing cosplayer. It was very cool. I guess he's gone there every year, him and his dad, and he's been Robin for the last like 7 years. Well, there's a new.
Oh,
kid.
he leveled up.
He leveled up, so now he's Nightwing now. So I was admiring his suit, and he goes to me, he goes, "Hey, anyone ever tell you like you look like Keanu Reeves?" And I was like, "Bambaleo, you get an extra book because you're only allowed 5." So I bonded with Nightwing. It was cool. So I thanked him. And then I was fucking tired, Johnny. We're still doing the strap-on bit. I forgot. So when I got home, and I was tired, Johnny. I watched the picture. Subtitles was hard. Subtitles was hard to read when I was tired. It was hard. I was on the couch on a golden pillow.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know what happened, but I was fucking still awake enough to strap on.
The following message is a paid advertisement for the Cult of Muscle podcast. The Cult of Muscle. You're either in it or you're dead.
It's the dawning of a new age. The halls of Valhalla have been shuttered. The heroes of yore have either retreated to the shadows or taken to capering for the amusement of the small folk. Their past glories a distant memory. The barbells have been torn from their once puma-strong grips. The beards shorn from their square jaws, only to be transplanted onto flannel-clad, puny weaklings with fingers barely powerful enough to strum a ukulele. The time has come, my brothers, to restore order from the chaos. No longer will our heroes be forgotten. No longer will their great deeds be viewed through a foggy lens of irony. Hear now our rallying cry as we scream it from the mountaintops, as we bellow it from iTunes and Libsyn and Facebook. It's time to join the cult, my brothers. So don your cloaks and enter the Cult of Muscle.
Thank you guys for having me on. It's a blast. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much.
And, Trick or Treat Radio, man. That's where it's at. That's the new Fangoria Radio is Trick or Treat Radio.
Oh,
Don't say that.
It's like,
You really put us under.
it's like swearing in church. I
You
don't know.
just jinxed us.
You put a lot on our shoulders just now.
Well, we can strive for
You
greatness.
guys are awesome.
Yeah,
you really
just
are. You
say
got a
that again
great show.
slowly.
Oh, delicious nerds. Ms. M knows you like to chat it up with other sexy shut-ins about comics, movies, video games, and your favorite TV shows. If that sounds like you, cuddle up to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group, or the FIB. That stands for Fan Interaction Board. Just go to Facebook and search for Trick or Treat Radio and have more fun than a Jedi at a lightsaber sale. Not enough? Watch us on YouTube, The Deadites TV, all one word. Last but not least, check out the world's most dangerous talk radio show, Trick or Treat Radio, at trickortreatradio.com.
You're my new best friend.
And we have returned on Trick or Treat Radio.
Yeah.
Wow, what was that?
Gas. Gas for your fat ass.
Jeez. That's pretty mean, man. Who are you talking to?
Talking to you, asshole.
You are calling me fat ass?
Hey,
You?
excuse me. Excuse me. I do not have a fat ass.
Nor do I.
All right, then.
Don't shut that. Rave Show's got a fat ass.
Open it.
Open it.
Open
what are
it.
you doing?
Now it is open. Now sit it down.
Sit down.
And shut your mouth.
Now, take your hand off the goddamn door.
Sit down. Shut up.
Sit down. Sit over there, gluteus minimus.
There's a movement in the chat room. Evil Corny says Aries needs to be on camera. And Creepy Girl says, yes, Corny, agreed. She says, get your bushy bearded whiskey drinking face in the freaking shot, please.
Yeah.
Get your mad ass over here.
Boy, you got a lot of balls saying that about 2,000 miles away.
The fans are demanding it.
Creepy Girl says he's got a nice mug. He needs to let us see it.
She's drunk.
Well, let me
Maybe
tell you something, Creepy Girl. We're looking at it and we're not all that impressed.
Just saying, Aries, we have a Patreon going.
Okay.
If we hit the first goal by the end of the night, Aries will go on camera.
Yeah. Keep the fucking.
Yes, but MZ also has to move down.
I got no problem with that.
Fucking man-spreading
Excuse me.
asshole.
Man spread. My man's spreading. Look at him. Look at him. And what about this ass? Look at him.
I'm
And
fucking
look at
long.
you.
What?
Okay, dial it down.
I'm like a fucking condor. Look at my wingspan.
Oh boy.
I'm
scooch down,
I'm
scoochy
one to
pooch.
hardly man spread, but I'm willing to move down if you're willing to move in.
Oh no, Johnny set the bar high.
We've had 6 people up in this motherfucker before.
Johnny
had-
set the bar high.
Way to fucking go, Johnny.
Why do you care if I'm on?
Because the people are asking for
Yeah,
it.
people
Creepy
are
girl,
asking
she's
for
from
it.
Florida. She's at work right now, and she wants to
She
see
gets
your
to see
puss.
MZ.
She wants to see his what?
His puss. His face. Mug.
Oh, okay. Thought
His grill.
Never mind.
His grill. Yeah.
His
Don't be
grill.
Crass, Johnny.
I'm not being crass.
You're being a little crass.
You're being a little crass.
I think. Well, no. I think. You know.
I think what Raven Shadow's trying to say is he's being crass.
Yes. He's being crass too.
And you're not last.
Yeah, that's another thing. And by the way, just so we know.
Oh Christ! You had to bring that up.
Yes.
Yes.
He's not
Scooch
gonna
down.
All night long.
No, I'll just be thinking about it on the ride home. That's fine. Just,
and tomorrow.
And tomorrow.
And the
But
next
tomorrow.
day.
I'm gonna text
And
Johnny.
into next week.
I'm gonna text Johnny on Sunday.
Are we gonna? I don't need that.
That was a joke. that was a joke, right, Johnny?
All right, so we're going to talk about Shadow, this film from 2018, which just got a theatrical release in America. I actually don't know when this is hitting VOD. I imagine it's going to be soon, but it's put out by Wellgo USA here in this country, and you can catch it theatrically right now in select theaters. It is an action drama war, and the original title is Ying, which makes a lot of sense, right?
Which is Asian for shadow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did some research?
Which Asian country?
Which is Asian. Yeah, you did say Asian.
Which Asian
There's
country?
a lot of Asian
This
languages.
is a lot. So many.
What country was this movie set in?
China.
He's right.
He is right. Thank God.
All right. And the film is directed by Zhang Yimou and is written by Li Wei and also Zhang Yimou. And it stars, I'm going to probably butcher, Deng Chao, Sun Li, Zhang Ryan, or I think in this case it's Ryan Zhang, Wang Qinyan, Wang Jingcheng, Hu Jun, and Wu Lei.
Wow, look at that. You didn't do too bad. You might get a job at King Jade yet.
Jesus.
That's nice, huh?
Wow.
Nice fucking talk.
What? What did I say?
That's nice.
Just saying he could work at a Chinese restaurant. That's all. He did that pretty well. I'm impressed.
Wow.
Wow.
You're forgetting the Baldwin. Which Baldwin was in that one? I forget.
What?
Am I thinking of the wrong movie?
What are you talking
Oh,
about?
the Shadow.
Oh, Alec
yes.
Baldwin.
Oh, yes.
Yes, not The Shadow. Sorry. Did you watch the wrong movie?
I think I watched the wrong movie.
That one didn't have subtitles.
Yes, we were reviewing a movie from 23 years ago.
Well,
25 years ago.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
94.
Right, 94, that's right.
All right, the synopsis. To finally achieve victory over a rival kingdom, a brilliant general devises an intricate plan involving his wife, a lookalike, and 2 kings. So this film is directed, as I said, by Zhang Yimou, and he did the films Hero and House of Flying Daggers, amongst other films. Have any of you guys seen Hero?
I saw Hero.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen House of Flying Daggers.
Raven Shadow, did you see?
I saw Hero, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah. I think we might have watched it together. Do you remember that?
It might have been at the Manor.
Yeah. I want to say we I want to say we watched it at the Manor.
It might have been like a bunch of us. So
Yeah.
Probably was like in and out. I went upstairs a couple times.
Probably.
Take care, do a couple things.
Well, anyways, Hero starred Jet Li.
Yes.
And it had Maggie Cheung. Let's see who else was in this. Thought it had some other. Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it had a a really awesome cast, and that movie is fucking gorgeous. I haven't seen it in a few years, but I do love Hero. But so this is, I think it's set in a similar. There's no relation to the films, but I think this is set in a similar time period. And actually, I did some research, but I didn't write it down. So let me just quickly pull something up because I wanted to talk about. This is it. I think might be the. I read a review earlier. This might be it. And so he is one of the sort of great filmmakers in China. Like he when the Olympics were in China, he directed like the opening like video for the Olympics, and he did a lot of stuff like that. So
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he does. He's a fairly well known director, and I'm sure he has no problem getting the kind of budgets that he wants. So, I'm trying to find out when this takes place. I just don't. I thought I had it here, but I don't.
Was
So-
it around the time they invented snowboarding?
Yeah, MZ. What?
You are a peckerhead. You know that.
No, because MZ did a lot of research, and it's true to call back to when the Hong Kong invented snowboarding.
Is that true, MZ?
I am not going to defend myself on that anymore. You know what I was saying.
Which ties into him doing the Olympics. That's why.
Yeah,
There's a whole
yeah.
thing there. That's a callback. Check out Trick or Treat Radio Volume 3, I believe.
I don't even know.
It's the Volume 1 through 3 that nugget of knowledge is on.
You fuck.
Great. Thanks for narrowing it down.
Yeah.
Well, we only have 3 of them. So
Yeah, I know.
So that's why you buy all 3. Right? It's marketing.
Oh, shut up.
That's really,
Tell you, I'm giving a little teaser while Johnny's doing his thing over here. I'm helping him out, backing him up. You can move down a little bit, show
Hey.
your face.
my intro's last.
No, listen, yeah, all right, no, listen. Doesn't matter.
That's twitching when
No,
I say it.
No, the order doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. Fuck it.
Doesn't matter.
Let's fucking like the purge. Let fucking everything go.
Jeez, man.
It's like so I can fight you for it?
You know,
And whichever
no.
one wins gets last slot?
Well,
is that how we're going to play this?
Oh,
no, I think we should. No. You just talk things out, maybe.
You're not good at that either.
No, I'm pretty good. I'm a decent orator.
All right. Well, here's
depending on the room.
This doesn't talk about what it was based on, but it's a decent synopsis. It basically says 2 feuding kingdoms in the centuries-old saga, Yan and Pen, have a peace treaty that stands as long as the King of Pei. As long as the King of Pei doesn't attempt to reclaim a city lost in battle. A complacent Cretan, the king agrees not to stir the waters, thus ensuring his throne won't be taken from him. Nonetheless, Commander Yu, Pai's greatest hero, has gone ahead and set up a mortal duel with Yang's General Yang. The move earns the commander shameful demotion, but that's part of the plan. So, as this is I'm not going to say it's an intricate story. There are some intricate turns in this, but it is a fairly basic setup where there's this sort of like this king who doesn't seem like he's quite. He just enjoys being king. Right? Is that kind of
right?
Would you guys say
he's
that
relatively young, probably in his early 30s?
Yeah, I have no idea how old he's supposed to be in the movie, but yeah, he is definitely a young king.
He more likes the idea of being king rather than
Yes.
the execution of being king.
Yeah.
He likes the power rather than the responsibility.
Yeah, and he seems like he's a little aloof. You know, he does have the fear of his people, and he does sort of utilize that. But I think he definitely is sort of like this kind of lame duck king where he's maybe not the best king, but he just likes having the title and exerting his influence and power.
Where have we seen that in a current climate?
We're not a political
I'd
show.
I'd rather have this guy lead the fucking nation.
Yeah.
Believe me, that went across my mind a few times too while watching this.
So, and I got to say, aside from the story stuff, like visually, this film, like, it might be the best film we've seen so far this year, and we've seen some pretty good ones. Because we did, even whether you like the film, Hagazusa was beautiful,
right?
And Dragged Across Concrete looked beautiful. We've seen some really gorgeous shot films, but this one, goddamn, every fucking frame is basically a piece of art.
The color palette of this film is extraordinarily soft.
It's monochrome.
Would
be
very
a good way to describe it.
It's very muted, and it gives a very for lack of a better term, old world feel to it. It's really quite unusual seeing a film with this kind of a treatment as far as the color is concerned, because it just that type of technology that they use to create this color really adds to the atmosphere of this movie and to the time frame of this film. And
also to the themes. I think that's the biggest thing that this plays up is throughout this movie, there's this theme of yin and yang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's a bunch of themes that are opposite each other that keep coming into play. We have the light and the dark. We have masculine versus feminine. We have fire versus water in some respects. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of these kind of flip side things of the yin and the yang, which is a theme played throughout, which I think is brilliant, and especially the way that it was shot and the way it looked. Like, that was just perfectly played up. Like, we don't see this very often, because how many times do you have an opportunity to do this sort of thing where you really compare and contrast the light versus the dark and really have it play into the look of the film? So not only it was shot in it's monochrome, very muted, but a lot of what they did, a lot of the sets were actually black and white. So what they did was, like, the outfits, the costumes were black and white. Like, there was no color in them. And because of that, their faces really popped, because they didn't do anything to mute the color of their skin. So their faces really popped out of the background. And even in the king's chambers, they had all that calligraphy with the black and the white. Like, almost everything in this was black and white, but it wasn't shot in black and white. They definitely did some sort of wash over it to give it that sort of muted monochrome look. But it's interesting that almost everything was black and white to begin with.
Yeah, picture like Sin City, only without the hyper technology that was used to create the look of that film.
Right. More subdued.
Yeah.
Because even sometimes I thought, like, is this black and white or not? You know, and then you'd have those subtle.
There was their skin and also blood were the two things that jumped off the screen because of that.
But to MC's point, it wasn't too Sin City.
No, definitely
it was
not.
Clearly,
No.
it was not.
No.
Sin City, like you said, was digitally, like, it looked digitally altered to look like a comic book, and also with the way that it moved, like, it had this sort of, like, I don't know how to describe the movement of it, but this was it was more like a series of paintings or drawings, whereas that had this sort of hyperkinetic motion to it, and also it was more like a water painting, like that sort of the thing, because when you look at it, a lot of, especially the outfits that they wear, were basically like water paints, like the way they were decorated, and then the calligraphy that the king would draw, like, it definitely had. And rain obviously plays a big part in this movie, because it's pretty much raining throughout the entire thing. And it has this very sort of ethereal, almost otherworldly feel to it because of that. And I was sold right away. Like, I was like, there are I looked up some screenshots of this film, and it is essentially like each one that I saw is essentially like a piece of art. There's one I'm going to pull up in just a sec, and it is just so gorgeous. Like, this is an absolutely gorgeous film. And if you guys remember Hero, there was some scenes in that just blew me away. There's one with like a fight with like a cherry blossom tree with the cherry blossoms falling down.
Yes.
That was really stuck in my head as like, holy fuck, that is gorgeous. And this was almost on an opposite way, where that was very almost pastel and bright. This was muted and dull and black and white, but it was also just as beautiful in a different way.
And even, like, jumping ahead a little bit, like, I love just the shot when they were fighting, with the yin and yang in, like, that little, which is an amazing shot.
In that little fight arena?
Yeah.
The arena or the boat?
I was mentioning the arena, but the boat too.
Yeah. Yeah, like this picture here, like, and it reminds me of like Akira Kurosawa in a way too. It looks like that was probably definitely a big influence, because I get that sort of like feel. And this is, like I said, this is filmed in color, but you can see it almost looks black and white, because of the way it was shot.
That's
So
great.
it's a really interesting flick in terms of the way it looks. And I'm not saying I haven't seen any films like this, because I'm sure I have, but nothing jumps out to me like it's just like this film, or like even this picture here with the commander with
the parasol, with the bladed parasol. Yeah.
We'll talk about that soon, because that was fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
fucking parasols are fucking badass, dude.
In this, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how fucking beautiful is that? This is what you can't see, but if you're in the studio, you could see a fight, the battle chamber.
Yeah, they're in sort of the underground,
Yeah.
where the commander lived, and there was like an arena with a yin yang, symbol that comprised to make the arena. It's really gorgeous. Yeah, it's. I mean, I could literally talk for the entire review about how much I enjoyed the look of this film, and how some of the decisions, like the set design, the costume design, everything was just right on fucking point for this, And typically, and I'm not going to say all Chinese period pieces do, but there's certainly an attention to detail, and also trying to get it right. But this one definitely nailed it. This is that sort of big epic feel, and they nailed it.
Well, yeah, it's not all Chinese cinema. We watched something fairly recently that had cool stuff, but wasn't compared. I wouldn't compare it to this. You can have the set pieces, you can have the costumes, but if it's missing that extra element,
yeah.
And I think this follows through with a lot of that. Great to look who it's being fucking directed by.
This is the one right here. This looks like a painting,
Yeah.
and
I want that painting.
Yeah, it's basically, I think that, if I'm not mistaken, is that the commander, and he was riding a horse up on this sort of bridge, and there's a tree. Just the way it's framed, it looks like a fucking painting. It is so gorgeous. I'll probably end up using this actually as the social media image that we use, so I'll just save that right now. But it's, man, I could go on and on about how beautiful this film is. Did any of you guys not enjoy that, or do you have another take on the look of the film?
Are you kidding me? I loved it. I loved it. I thought the look of this film was absolutely top notch.
Yeah.
And kudos to
Zhang.
Well, yeah, him, but also whoever the director of photography was.
Oh, yeah.
Which was just, and the cinematographer, who would be, let me see, it would be Zhao. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Zhaoding. I'm gonna go with that.
All right.
I'm sure I screwed that up.
And I'm sure you screwed it up too.
Resoundingly, yeah.
Zhaoding, I will say. And a movie that's shot like that takes a hell of a lot of skill, because it's as Johnny says, it looks like a painting. It looks like something that's not real, and yet it is. If any, as much as I would hate to think that this would be true, if there were any computer enhancements in this movie at all, as far as the look of this film goes, it would be. I would hope that it's extremely, extremely minimal.
And if there are, you couldn't tell.
Exactly.
The only thing I could think of is the scene where they're coming down in the city, coming down the hill in the parasols. That's the only thing maybe. Because there's no way to, how do you do that, right?
Yeah, there are a few CGI scenes in this movie, and to be perfectly honest with you, they're not really up to par with the rest of the film, so they kind of stick out like a sore thumb. But I take that with a grain of salt, especially with a film like this, because it is just so goddamn beautiful.
Right. Yeah,
and the story is really quite compelling as well. I mean, you got treachery. You got
Kung Fu treachery.
You know, you got backstabbing, you got treachery, you got swindling. You know, and
swindle.
huh?
It's a swindle.
It is a swindle, but it's a good swindle. This is a good swindle.
And one thing I would be remiss if I didn't mention sort of the titular line, shadow. So what a shadow is so in this case, there's the commander who was injured in a battle with Yang, who is sort of the head of this opposing army. And he had been secretly training a shadow. And a shadow is basically like a well-trained assassin who is a stand-in.
Yeah.
So he's a stand-in for the real commander. And
Body double.
Yeah, and nobody knew. Like, he's been doing it for, did they say, a year or two?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember exactly how long, but I think it might have been a year because he had got injured in a fight with Yang, and to the point where he was deteriorating. And so because of that, like, he used the shadow, this body double, and he was highly trained. He was plucked when he was young and trained for this role. And it was seamless, like nobody knew. You know, at least so we thought at the beginning. Nobody knew, and he just stepped right in and did his thing. And so behind the scenes, the real commander, the real guy, not the shadow, was sort of, you know, he lived underneath the kingdom, in the building that the king lived in, underground, and you know, and he had been training a shadow and kind of working behind the scenes to have things go in his direction, because he wanted one thing while the king wanted another. The king wanted this peace treaty because he just wanted to be king. He knew if it came down to it and there was a war, he might lose his seat, right? He might lose his kingdom. He might lose his throne. So he just wanted to keep a status quo while the commander had something else in mind. So that's sort of where we're at. I don't want to get into too many of the details, but you know, but that's where the name comes from, the name Shadow. And you know, I think this is a fairly straightforward story, at least initially. You know, where we have the Shadow, or in this case, the commander. Nobody knows. He challenges Yang, the general of the opposing army, to a duel. Basically 3 rounds. That's all. Yang does his 3-round fight, and he typically wins in 3 rounds. And so he challenged him to a duel, and whoever won would get the city, I think is what they said, wasn't it, or something like that? So, and then the king was like, nope, we're not doing that, and he dismissed the commander, took his position away from him, and offered up his sister without her knowledge as a wife to the opposing general's son. Basically an arranged marriage.
Concubine.
Well, initially as a wife. Is there a difference? There's a difference, right?
A big difference.
Yeah. Whoa, yeah. Fellas, if you're in the back, don't call your wife a concubine. Spoiler alert, probably not going to work out too well.
Yeah.
Do you, sir, take this concubine to be your lawfully wedded thing?
So he offered him up as a wife, and they came back and basically said, we'll let her be his concubine, and then we'll accept your deal. Is kind of what it was. And the sister had no knowledge of this. She only found out when was it Lou was the sort of his mouthpiece?
Yeah, the kind of dude that is like hype man.
Yeah, the king's hype man. When he came back, he had basically, you know, said like, this is what they want, and they countered so that you would be a concubine and not a wife. And he was like, what? Like, she was like surprised because she didn't know anything about this. The king never even mentioned basically marrying off his sister. Didn't even tell her. Didn't even think it was important to tell her. And that sort of creates this other theme. And also at the beginning, when we have Madam and the sister who was to be wed that we just talked about, they were playing not playing, but they were doing some like almost like a fortune telling type of thing, like maybe some sort of oracle game or something like that. And what it came down to was, you know, the women will have our time eventually, is kind of what it wasn't that sort of the outcome of that our time is not now, but it'll come. and it was basically like the women. So it was a bit of foreshadowing, and I thought that I thought it was kind of a throwaway thing, but later on we get a little bit more about that, and I guess it's not too much of a spoiler, but as they're training for the Shadow to meet Yang, the general of the opposing army, the Shadow keeps getting defeated by the real commander, by the real guy. And he's like, no, this isn't right. You're not going to beat him. You're not going to beat him. And then Madam, who is the commander's wife, made a suggestion and basically said, why don't you use a more feminine way of fighting? Like, go with his attacks and to kind of like block them or dodge them. And so she grabbed a parasol and fought with her husband, just sparring. And what she was doing with the parasol was fucking cool. Like, she would go with the momentum of the hit and spin the parasol to basically to push it aside to almost like parry the attack or like, and so it was a cool thing. And then the real commander was like, this is it. Like, this is what we need. And so that was when the other theme of masculine versus feminine, I think, came into play, because we had that's sort of how they were going to counter Yang's fighting, was with this sort of feminine fighting style, which looked really cool. So she worked with the Shadow to try to perfect it so we could learn it, kind of like they were talking about, like melding their minds so that he knew exactly what she would do and stuff like that. So in a way, it created this new style that was taught to these criminals who were part of this whole kind of uprising, this underground uprising.
Yeah.
I know I'm kind of veering off into other directions. You really should watch the movie instead of just, like taking our word for, for what happens. But, I thought that was a really cool thing. And they talked about his attacks being sort of more like fire, and they wanted to counter with something that was more fluid and like water. So, and that's kind of when the theme of like fire and water came into play a little bit. And I also noticed the materials that they used, the what I'm going to call the Shadow and his sort of army use bamboo, which bends but doesn't break.
Right.
And then the other guys use like a hard wood, which is really hard and sturdy, but can be chopped down, So once again, it's playing into these themes, which I thought was really cool of, the one army had one thing while the other had like almost the exact opposite. So it really plays into these themes of light and dark and feminine and masculine and what have you, So I thought that was really cool that they were playing that up, and it's played perfectly with the way the film is shot, like we talked about, with that monochrome sort of look to it. So, and you could tell, I don't know which is which, but there was like the king. I don't know if I wouldn't call him light per se, but I would call the commander sort of dark because he lived down underneath in like a cave.
Right.
And like he was almost consumed by this darkness, and so the Shadow had this sort of duality going where he would sort of journey into both worlds,
And he's playing the part too. He has to, he has to be. He's not himself. He's a being this. He's acting
as someone else. Yeah, and let me be frank and say that in this case, I don't think dark is necessarily evil.
Right.
It's just two sides of a coin, right?
Yeah.
So because there was neither side was good or bad necessarily. It just depends on which side of the feud you're on. Like if you're on one side, you think you're the good guys. If you're on the other side, you think you're the good guys as well. So there's no real good or evil. That's why they really highlight the light and the dark. And I thought that was interesting. And I think the Shadow, because he sort of delved into both, it helps explain some of the stuff that happens later on, that he dabbles a little bit in both, because I'm not going to talk about the ending too much, but the ending kind of like threw me for a loop because I didn't expect what happened to happen. And then when it did, it confused me a little bit because I thought the character was going in one way and then he sort of went in a different way. So that definitely threw me off a little bit, but the more I thought about it, I feel that it's all kind of there, And so when it happens, it is a little bit surprising, but it's like, well, it's kind of been there, you know. I know that's really vague to people who haven't seen the movie because I don't want to give anything away, but what'd you guys think of the fighting? There wasn't a ton of action.
Yeah, this isn't a conventional action film. You know, even by Chinese war standards.
Right.
You know, the fight scenes are rather sparse, except when you get to probably about the third reel, then things start kicking into gear.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with the way the fight scenes looked. I mean, the wire work was. I mean, it was obvious. Some of the wire work scenes was a bit obvious, but you know, I think they still pulled it off pretty well.
And it also wasn't that crazy wire work that
right.
looks very unrealistic. It was
where they flipped 10 times in the air.
Yeah, it wasn't like the Shaw Brother joint.
Yeah, like in this, they might spin in the air a couple times, but it almost seems like it's sort of realistic in a way. Like, I'm not saying it is, but it's like, okay,
it's believable.
Believable. That's a good way to put it.
And especially the way some of those fight scenes were shot, where they use slow motion, which and especially during those rainy scenes.
Yeah.
Rainy scenes, slow motion with this type of fight action, with a lot of the those bladed parasols and other just these long bladed weapons. It just looked absolutely stunning, and I was perfectly fine with the way the fight scenes turned out. I didn't see anything wrong with them at all. I thought they were fine.
I might have preferred more, especially early on, but there was enough intrigue that really had me like, okay, yeah, I'm totally into this.
And that was the thing too. I mean, I am definitely behind the beauty of the film and the look to it, and I do like a good political intrigue. Story. I was a little bit, as the movie had me, and then it kind of lost me a little bit early on. And once again, it was a time of night I watched it, which shame on me. But I did watch it a little bit later in the evening. But so when it does get to more action stuff, I think there's definitely a payoff.
Yeah. Whereabouts did it lose you, if you don't mind me asking?
There's a lot of talking.
So about 5 minutes in.
5 minutes in.
It started off very Quentin Tarantino-esque with a long monologue at the beginning of the movie.
Yes. Although I did like the idea, I really get into the what was it? What do you call that? That wasn't a piano.
Oh, the lute.
They called it a lute, but I think it's actually called something else.
I really dug that, and I don't know if this is a spoiler, but basically, who was it? The king wanted to hear the couple play.
Yeah.
They hear they're really good at it. And I forget what was the reason why, but she promised she would never play a note what was the reason? Because some of I might have lost something in the subtitles.
No, she refused to play another note until I forget what it was too. Now that you mention it, I had it on the tip of my tongue. Now I forgot it.
But dynamite drop.
Yeah,
that's what I'm here for.
But no, do you remember Aries? Why wouldn't
I don't.
she?
That's why I didn't chime in.
Did you guys watch the movie?
I did, and I remember exactly what you're talking about. I just don't remember the reason why.
And then she was like, all right, well, she promised the gods that she would cut off her finger before playing the instrument.
Is this it?
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's I don't know how, Guzheng, Guzheng.
Yes, Luis Guzheng.
It's kind of
whoever this person is playing a little bit more elegantly than the way it was played in the movie.
Yeah.
In
the movie is very dissonant. I think once again it was that
hard
that
versus
theme.
light.
Yeah. The hard, hard versus light, or light versus dark, whatever you want to say. And there was some really speaking of the let's turn this down. Speaking of the score, it was a really interesting score because all of a sudden there'd be like this ding, almost like a ding of something happened, like a light bulb going off. It was interesting the way it was framed, and it was almost like when that happened, there was something important that was being said, or I don't know. It just was a really interesting score, And at times, it was almost a little bit distracting. But I think it really added to the overall sort of canvas of things, because of the way the film looked, and also because of the the way the music interacted with the images. I thought was pretty interesting.
What was the? Like, I get her just going back to that. I get cutting her finger off, but how did cutting his hair equal out to that?
Well, let's cut off your hair and let's see how
Yeah.
that works
All right,
out.
fair. No, I get
Well,
that, but I know.
Well,
I mean,
he didn't know how to play, right?
Yeah.
Because
But-
he was
well-
the shadow.
Yeah,
Oh, so
he
it
was
was
just blowing
beneficial.
smoke.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
Well,
was
that
bl-
was his retaliation, but obviously in that culture, cutting your hair was, that you didn't do that.
okay.
Every male had long hair in that, so cutting your hair was obviously something that was regarded as something you don't do.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to say sin, but something along those lines, where it was just like, yes, let her take off 2 fingers, don't cut your hair.
Okay.
Like, this was held in the highest regard.
That's what I figured. I didn't know if there was some other, more deep meaning.
I'm sure if we lived in that culture, we'd be like, oh my God, he cut his hair. Like
Right, right.
type of, that aspect. Like, oh my God, the monk spoke. Like that type
Right,
of thing.
right. Like I felt that way when Jason Momoa cut his beard off.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I did. It goes back
Jeez.
fast, right? So I wouldn't.
Jesus.
Don't worry, guys. It goes back for Aquaman 2. Don't worry about it. But no,
Apparently you follow him Instagram because I have no idea what you're talking about.
no, I watch Entertainment Tonight. Okay.
Oh, you're the one that
It's on
watches
after
that
the
still.
news.
Yeah, you're the motherfucker that's why it's still in the air.
Where's Mary Hart? It's a callback.
Call back to what?
The 90s?
Yeah.
John Tesh.
Not
remember
this
him?
show,
Remember
yeah.
John Tesh. Yeah. I like him. He's not on no more. He's not on the program.
What was the name of the show? Entertainment Tonight?
Come on,
Was
you
that
still ever watch fucking no.
Yeah, Entertainment
You know what?
Tonight.
I really want to make fun of you with another show from that era, but I can't think of the goddamn name.
What, like fucking Current Affair?
Yeah, that was the
or
one. Yeah.
Hard Copy. Remember
No,
that?
Current Affair. That was the one with the triangle.
Yeah,
that, Boom.
yeah, yeah.
But I couldn't think of the name because
Yeah,
apparently you still have it on your VHS tapes.
Yeah, it's on my Hulu.
Well, it's not as scary as the theme music to In Search of.
Goddamn
fucking
right.
Terrifying. Oh my god. Don't be scared, MC.
Goddamn
scared?
right. No, to be perfectly honest, I never really. I was so into the look of the film, I didn't even think about the music.
Well, it was kind of in your face. That's why, like, at times, I did write a note about it. Let me see. I said the music is very prominent, almost to the point of being distracting at times. But ultimately, I think it fits the tone of the film well. Because it was just there'd be like these plucks of the gunzang, ding.
Yeah.
And it would kind of let it kind of ring out, and then it would go back to playing like a little bit of a melody. So and different people focus on different things. So maybe the music just didn't jump out to you,
Yeah.
but to me, it was very prominent. Definitely was almost distracting at times. But but like I said, I enjoyed it though.
And let me give a shout out to whoever structured up those matte paintings, because the way those were created, absolutely phenomenal, because those were seamlessly blended into the actual locations, which
Yeah,
I thought was sensational. Now, of course, when you're dealing with a lot of blacks, a lot of whites, a lot of grays, you don't have much room for error. Right. You're only dealing with just a certain color palette.
Yep.
But the way it looks in this movie is sensational. I mean, when you're seeing you're seeing a building up front, you're seeing an army over by its door, and you see the background. That background, while it's not real, looks phenomenally real. It looks amazing. The way these matte paintings were set up in this movie. Phenomenal work.
Yeah, and that's also something nowadays you'll do digitally usually,
Yeah.
But I do feel that from what I could tell anyways, to my eye, they did use a lot of matte painting in this.
That's what it looked like to me, man. It looked beautiful.
And that is definitely a throwback, because you don't see that a ton anymore,
Mm-hmm. Very true.
But yeah, and I thought the set pieces were really cool. There was a lot of great set pieces, like you had mentioned earlier, MZ, the underground arena with the yin yang, and then also later on, for the duel that they had, there was the Shadow kind of had a boat that came in, and on the boat, on the top of it, was an arena with the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And then there was like the army invading the city, trying to retake the city. And so what we had was 100, basically it was 100 prisoners is sort of how they framed it. And they learned this fighting style with the bladed parasols. So we have an army of like 100, people with these fucking parasols, and it looked fucking awesome.
It was a great visual. Like I love the kind of strike team coming in and coming down to the city. I like dudes on fucking rooftops and bows and arrows.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, so they, and so if you haven't seen this, or seen the trailer, just imagine, an umbrella, and instead of having, like it's basically like, I don't know, like 30, 40, 50 blades that make up the top part of the umbrella. And you can spin it, obviously, and then also you can like almost like cock the handle, and you can shoot off blades as you spin it. You do that, and the blades fly off. So it becomes a projectile weapon as well.
It's pretty badass.
It's a great anime weapon, or like a fighting game stuff. Like it'd be in Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean? It's just really cool,
it's fucking badass. It
cool
looks
visual.
It looks so cool, and then they utilize it in different ways. They almost use it like a shield. So it doubles as like a shield, and then in one scene we kind of prefaced it earlier, but they essentially go down like almost like a water slide, because it's a hill, but there's water flowing down it. So they go down it like a water slide with the bottom of the parasol underneath them, and then they had parasols on top.
Yeah, it's like a sled.
Yeah, picture like
it was like an ice cream sandwich, like it was like like on top and bottom they had the parasols, so they were protected because there was archers like standing on top of the buildings trying to kill them, and they were able to. Some of them didn't make it through, but. They had a really good chance by having all that armor.
Yeah, the whole visual of that is really quite striking.
It's like Battle Oreos from Doom.
Battle Oreos, yeah. They were like almost like turtles. Like they had the shell on top, and then on the bottom they're protected.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking like even like the 300 Spartans, their style of protection, but they kind of just changed it up a little bit. And it was a great visual of them coming down. Although it was a little bit choppy when they first started.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, that was really cool.
It just was a really cool visual, and just that weapon alone, like I've never seen anything like that. I don't know if that's based on an actual weapon. Have you guys ever seen anything like that?
I've never seen anything like that.
No.
He's God of War.
So yeah, I don't think there's been anything like that. It was, and that alone is just really fucking cool. It's striking when it's in the trailer. So if you guys haven't seen the movie but have seen the trailer, there's a scene where I think it's the Shadow puts the parasol into, like, holds it forward like a shield and starts to move it, and then you can see the blades shaking. It's like almost sounds like a snake, like a rattlesnake, and it's just a really cool visual, and the sound, everything is just really good. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really want to talk about with this. There's some of the themes that I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into. I guess I sort of did, and I can say this generally without giving much away, but I thought it was interesting to see, and I sort of touched on this a little bit, the establishment of the king, that he wanted to keep things in the status quo and make decisions for the women without consulting them. That was sort of like something that you felt he did more than just that once. Then while this new sort of underground movement, they're readily embracing femininity as a means to change and be better, to defeat this this warlord, or this the general, So I thought that was a really interesting, and especially now, I think it rings true with a lot of the things going on, just even the last 100 years, like the suffragette movement, and all these things about if you read what happened in Georgia in the last couple of days, then it looks like we're taking a step back. But with women not being able to get a fucking abortion, and then if they do go to another place, never mind. It's politics. I'm not going to talk about it, but we should be moving forward. We have, in some senses, been moving forward, and I think that this was kind of a cool analogy for that. And it's not just happening in this country; it's happening in other countries, and I think it's something that hopefully will continue to trend in that way, because there's no, it's stupid. Like, I'm going to say, like, fuck the patriarchy, because that's what, like, creates this shitty, like, society that we live in, I'm not saying it's going to be all fucking, all better if we have a more feminine influence, but if we do, it definitely can't be worse. I'll say you that much.
Yeah, bring the girls in, guys. It's not fun.
Yeah, exactly. So do you guys have anything else that you wanted to comment on before we head to a verdict on this? Any scenes stick out to you or anything like that? Nah. All right. Well,
not really.
Not really. Well, let's head to the verdict.
Trick or treat, baby. I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, it is verdict time. We'll let you know whether this flick was a trick or a treat, and any final thoughts we may have. Let's start with Michael Ravenshadow, since the name of the movie is in his name.
Yes, thank you.
And he's not last.
No, I'm not last. No. It's fine. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, Eric.
You always go first, though.
Thank you. Thank you. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the order. Everyone wins. Everyone wins here at Trick or Treat Radio.
Oh, everyone gets a trophy?
Everyone gets a fucking trophy.
With that type of podcast?
Well, we are now, Aries, because that's what you decided that you were doing now. Aries is the producer, I guess. He's running things now, Johnny. It's nice, huh?
It is, actually.
Oh, real fucking nice.
Go ahead.
So I get distracted by those underpants you were scrolling by.
Sorry, there's an ad in my feed.
Underpants? He's throwing underpants your way?
Well, not throwing them at me, but just scrolling by, and I got distracted by one thing, and then I got distracted by another thing. I'm not gonna tell you which order, but if you were in studio, it's fucking
easily
weird.
distracted. Look, something shiny.
Well, you show Aries that.
I can't see that.
Oh, see, come on in front of the
No,
camera.
this is the beauty of being back here. I don't get
God,
distracted.
fucking Patreon, please donate to make us that fucking tier and show this guy's fucking mug. So I'm trying to say is, definitely it's not something that would be get a bunch of dudes over for a samurai night with a bunch of guys hooting and hollering. Well, no, because I think it'd be actually, I had people over a couple weeks ago, and we watched, tried to watch Dragged Across Concrete, because a couple guys really wanted to watch it, and that's not something that's conducive for a room full of people. Even with subtitles. So I think, yes, you could, but if everyone's talking. So this isn't one of those pictures, like, it's not like Night Comes For Us, where you could just throw it on and enjoy the mayhem. But no, if you like some political intrigue, nice color palettes, to a crescendo of cool weaponry and other storytelling, check it out. I dig it. Definitely a treat.
MZ.
Yeah, I dug this one quite a bit, mostly before it's the artistic style and how it looked. Absolutely stunning. The story, not too bad either. I enjoyed it. And the performance, I thought, was the performance I thought that was really my favorite was of King Pai, played by Ryan Zhang. I thought he was really, really great. He was just really fun to listen to and fun to watch him. I got to check out more of this guy's work. I really dug his performance here. An extremely good movie. Well worth the time to watch it. It's a 2-hour film, just under 2 hours film, and the fight scenes I thought were choreographed very well. I thought the whole movie had a nice flow to it. It was very well paced. I didn't find it to be slow at all. It's not your conventional action film. It is a little off-putting with all the other Asian action films that we've seen in this era. I'm talking about. This one feels a little different, but it's not any less rewarding. This is a perfectly fine film. This is a treat.
All right, Aries.
All in all, I did enjoy this movie, but I will disagree with MZ in some aspects. I feel the pacing of this movie was not very good in the beginning. It took a lot to get going. It was you really had to pay attention, like almost like force yourself to lock into this movie to really get what's going on. And myself being someone who hates subtitles, it's a little difficult. I mean, I soldiered on. I got through this movie, and that's not. It wasn't a torture. It took a little bit extra effort to get into the meat of this movie. And this movie is very black and white on its surface. I mean, it almost appears shot in black and white, as was said. But when you get into the next level, everything is just a series of gray. You know, there is no ultimate black and ultimate white, ultimate good, ultimate bad. It is just a series of gray tones from wherever you're looking. You could stand anywhere, you know, in this movie from any character's point of view, and there is lighter and darker than that character. So it's just a series of gray tones, even though that on the surface it's just yin and yang. So I love that aspect of it. The one thing about the whole fight and when it actually got into the action aspect of it, which I don't feel action should be the first description of this movie. It is an action movie, but it's a drama action, not an action drama. I love splitting hairs about where you put descriptions of movies, because
I would agree.
It is very, because this is not an action drama. This is a drama action. That doesn't flow very well, so I'm not going to change the industry, and that's not going to be something you're going to see on movie boxes. But
you might, Aries. I'm thinking.
No,
I'm thinking
it's not.
Be.
It doesn't flow.
No.
See, I lost my train of thought. Where was it going? When the action did pick up, I thought the Foley got a little heavy-handed. There were some aspects of it that were, like, there's one guy, he was obviously hurt, bleeding, he was kneeling down. It sounded like a sink was running. And there was no blood underneath him. No.
Yeah, I know.
And I mean, that was just like the most obvious example. But there was other small things about, I mean, it was just, I mean, I understand Foley's a hard thing to do, but this was just a little heavy-handed. Maybe he was just a little hurt that he wasn't so involved in the first half of the movie and just trying to make up for it. But all in all, this movie definitely is a treat.
All right, for me, definitely a treat. This is a big-time treat. And if we were to do top 13 at this point right now, it would definitely be on my list. So this is pretty high up there for me right now. I just thought, like, I love when it doesn't happen often, because not every film can do this based on the themes that they're going for. But I love when a film, its themes seep into the art of making the film. You know, and in this case, like I said, with the yin, the yang, the light and the dark, that is very present when you're watching the film. You can ascertain it just by watching without even understanding a thing, because it's just ever present. It's just there. It's always there. You're looking at it, you know. And so, like I said, there's not a ton of opportunities for that to happen in films, but I love that they did that and they played it up in this. And it is an absolutely beautiful film. And like I do think, like you guys said, it is definitely more of a drama in a war film than it is an action film. But the action, they didn't really skimp on the action. I'm not going to say it's worthy of like The Night Comes for Us. It's not like that style of action. But when there is action, it's good. You know, it's not breaking any ground in terms of like, oh my God, like this right. You know, this is like the same shit we've seen over and over, or this is something brand new. It's not either. But it just does what it needs to do, and it's just right, and the choreography is good. You know, and some of the stuff is good to exceptional at times. So, you know, I think that this will please any, you know, even the most, you know, like demanding action fan, as long as you stick with the movie, you know, as long as you are into the story and the drama that's unfolding, you know, I think that all of the exposition and the dialogue that happens is very important leading up to the end of this film. So I don't think that anything was unnecessary, but I understand what you guys are saying, in areas especially that, you know, it does plod along a little bit at the beginning, but I think that I was able to forgive that or overlook it because of how this film looked to me and how drawn in I was. We've talked about that over and over, that, whether a film, what can make or break it for you is whether you're engaged. If your engagement is like at a high, you're going to overlook some things that you may not otherwise. But if you're just kind of like, ho-hum, like I'm not sure about this movie, you're going to nitpick because you're not dialed in. So I do think that does have a lot to do with it. So, and I think in this case, for me, I was dialed in all the way from the very first opening scene till the very last. And it is a beautiful movie, and very much recommend that people check this out. So if it's playing near you in theaters, this would be a beautiful movie to see in theaters. So be sure to catch it. Otherwise, it'll probably be hitting VOD very soon. So everyone keep an eye out for Shadow from director Zhang Yimou. All right. We have a couple options for next week. We'll talk about it during the break. I'm telling you right now, Raven Child, if you go out for smoke, you're going to miss.
I'm telling you right now, fucker Johnny, if it's another fucking goat, I'm going to fucking...
You're going to fuck a goat?
You're going to what?
No more fucking goat movies with dead fucking
Again?
goats. Or
there was
some
no
shit.
goat in this movie.
There's no goat in this movie.
I fucking looked too, but no.
You're right. There weren't any goats.
I'm like, yeah, thank God, no fucking goats. But
No
no fucking goat movies for a
Totes
while.
but goats.
Yeah, we need like a 4-month fucking reprieve from goats.
No goats.
No goats.
What about Tom Brady?
Yeah, go Brady.
All right. So we'll discuss the film. We'll have
Celtics the other help they can get.
We'll have it for you after the commercial break. The intermission, the second intermission. See, we take 2 intermissions in the span of a 3-hour show.
In MZ, you don't piss in either one of them.
Yeah.
Nope.
This is a 3-hour podcast. You don't get up and piss.
You can get through fucking Endgame.
Well, none that you know about.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're wearing your Depend?
Your catheter.
Stadium buddy.
All right, MZ. How long till we're back?
Hey, 2 and 2.
You go through your week with the same old routine.
What you really want is some blood and thunder in your life.
Well, friend, you found it. The Cromcast is an adventurous journey through the history of two-fisted pulp stories with your hosts John,
Josh,
and Luke. We have action,
horror,
and adventure, all through the lens of pulp luminary Robert E. Howard.
Don't just stay in your ordinary life.
Find your pulp life at thecromcast.blogspot.com.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
A podcast for the barbarian at heart.
I'm Alex West. And I'm Andrea Subasati, and we're from the Faculty of Horror podcast. And you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
Hello. This is the Sasquatch, a.k.a. Bigfoot, but you can just call me Frank. And when I'm not stomping around the woods throwing rocks at hunters, I like to listen to the Paranormal Punchers podcast. That's right, Paranormal Punchers. They talk about all things paranormal, and they're hilarious. Go find them on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and ParanormalPunchers.com.
I mean, yeah, the sexy dicks were cute for a minute.
It's not goats, though.
Anything with goats? Can we do goats?
We're still deciding, man. We got some tough options here. We may have to hold off and announce it later, because it depends on what we can get. You know, what we can get, what's available. So
And what will piss off Raven Shadow?
Exactly. This one probably would.
Yes.
Hey, let's say that we chose something.
No. What would he hate?
Just make up a title with goat in the name.
Something with subtitles.
Oh no,
I'm the
Aries
one who-
hates
I'm
that.
the one
Yeah.
who hates subtitles.
Well, he doesn't like him either.
Call it something about goats. Yeah. I don't know. You come up with a name, MZ.
Okay.
All right. Well, we do have double taps. We have some voicemails to get to. We'll do some quick double taps. I don't do anything too crazy. MZ, did you bring anything? Do you have anything to transform?
I do.
Anything?
I brought a couple things with me.
All right. Anything to transform though?
No.
Okay. Because if so, I was going to have you go first so you could transform.
Oh no.
Yeah,
No,
it takes you all fucking
It
double
does.
tap to transform.
I haven't gotten any Transformers lately. So
Since you dropped like a few hundred bills at Mars's store.
yeah, a few hundred bills. Yeah.
You did, didn't you?
How much you
No.
drop?
Yeah, you dropped like at least $200-300.
No,
right?
I didn't.
How much?
Give a number.
If I had to,
$199.
like I think like 120 or 130. I think.
All right, so one bill and change. All right, so well, why don't you kick it off then, MZ?
Oh, okay.
You usually go first, so let's stick with that.
All right. See, I'm first. Okay. Well, since we're in a transforming mood, I brought Bumblebee.
Doesn't transform though.
It does not. But what it does have is that it comes with this. This is the Blu-ray, and it comes with this really awesome comic book.
Ooh. Comic book.
Comic book. It's called Sector 7 Adventures: The Battle at Half Dome.
Is that near Thunderdome?
No. And all right, yeah, you know what? I've talked about this movie a few times, and I will say this is so far the best Transformers movie made yet. Live action.
Okay.
I was going to say better than the
movie.
Live action. This is really quite good. It's really, it kind of follows the template of E.T., to be perfectly honest, but it's like E.T. It's like E.T. with Transformers, you know, and so you can't really go wrong with that. It's really quite good. Let's see. There's a lot of extra special features. They got the action. You got the animated motion comic, Bumblebee's Next Adventure, which is take off the Sector 7 comic book that I just mentioned. Let's see. 14 extended and deleted scenes and outtakes with over 60 minutes of bonus content. Now, I wish some of that bonus content included a commentary, and unfortunately, there is none. But you never know. You know, film companies like to milk these things for all they're worth. So you never know. We might get one with an audio commentary at some point. Nonetheless, this is quite the movie. It's very G1, very close to G1. Aries, you've seen some of it, right?
Only trailers. I haven't seen any of the film itself.
No, I showed you some of
Oh,
the
yeah,
scenes.
some of that. Yeah.
And fantastic stuff. Now, even though that was added late into the film, in fact, all that CGI war at Cybertron was added after screen tests showed that fans were complaining that there were no Cybertron shots. They went back and added those in. Now, they may not look as good as the rest of the film as far as the robots go, but it's in there. It's very G1 accurate. You got Soundwave, Shockwave. You got Starscream, Dirge. You get the Tetrajets. You get RC, you get Wheeljack. And if you got a quick eye, you can even point out gears and possibly either grapple or Sunstreaker. But that's for people with a real quick eye. It's a fun movie, you know. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it sure as hell beats the rest out of those Michael Bay bullshit films. John Cena is a terrible actor. Nothing's going to change that. Nothing will ever, 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 ever change that. He's just, you know, he's John Cena playing himself in this movie, really, because he's like a tough guy, you know, lantern jaw dude with every now and then dropping a comedic line every now and again.
That's all I want from him, though.
Though, believe me, that's all you're going to get from him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
He's a comedic aspect of himself in every movie he's been in.
I don't want John Cena to play Othello.
Yeah, that's what I want from him, just to be funny. And is he funny? I mean, you say he makes jokes. Do you laugh?
No, I don't. Look, just because the guy says one witty quip in between a bunch of, you know, we're gonna get you, doesn't make him a fucking comedian.
Well, I mean, he's not fucking. He's playing a military guy against giant fucking robots. I mean, he was really fucking great in that Amy Schumer movie,
Trainwreck.
That fucking, there's a movie theater scene in that's fucking brilliant. You see it, Aries?
Yeah.
It's fucking funny as hell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's brilliant in that.
He's brilliant in that.
Yeah. He's not Oscar brilliant.
No.
But for what he's supposed to be.
Scene stealing.
Yeah.
Fair to say, right?
Yeah.
Does he salute in it? Because he salutes in this.
Well, it's weird.
That's all he does is salute. Stop saluting. You're not a Marine anymore. You never were.
Okay.
Ass.
My fault for sidetracking you.
Way to go.
Go ahead.
But you know, it's just a very well made movie. It looks like the 80s. It really does. The wardrobes, the sets, the cars, everything, you know, the interior of houses screams 1980s. And we were all there. We all remember what they look like, and it looks exactly like this. I think they nailed it perfectly. So if you're a Transformers fan, and if you're specifically a G1 fan like yours truly, then I would strongly suggest you picking this up. Bumblebee on Blu-ray.
Bumblebee now on Blu-ray.
Bumblebee.
How you say it?
Bumblebee.
Do you want to do your next one, or you want to move on?
I'll do my next.
Do second,
one.
okay.
Yeah, I'll get it out of the way.
Please.
My next one is one that I've had for a couple of months, and I think it's worthy of mentioning on this show. I'm a huge Criterion fan. I love Criterion. I love everything that they do. I love everything that they put out, and they never skimp on the extras. If it's one thing that Criterion knows how to do, is that they know how to supply a DVD or a Blu-ray chock full of extras, and this is no different. Of course, when you got to realize with what's available, you know, but whatever is available, they get it. So I picked up John Waters' Multiple Maniacs. This was one of John Waters' first films. I believe this was his third film. This came out in around 1970. And this is a story about Divine, playing the role of Divine. And it's a black and white film. And she, or he, however you want to put it, they want to they have this backyard sideshow, and in which they show nothing but truly disgusting people, and at least truly disgusting people that's considered back in the day. Like, you got guys putting out cigarettes on their arms, injecting themselves with heroin, eating puke, licking armpits, shit like that. And
where can I find this? Is that at Walmart?
And so Divine takes the group of his or her group of misfits out, and they just start killing people. Oh, yeah, listen to this. Larger-than-life Divine, out for blood after discovering her lover's affair. That's right, her lover's affair. Her lover is played by David Lockery, and he plays Mr. David. And this also has the on-screen debut of Edith Massey, who is best known as the Egg Lady in Pink Flamingos, or Queen Carlotta in Female Trouble. And this movie is really quite unique. It's just an absolute blast to watch. It's one of the funniest movies ever made. Aries, have you ever seen this?
I have not. I'm not a big John Waters fan.
No?
No.
How come?
Because I'm not a big John Waters fan. I'm sorry. He does little to nothing for me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And we run into her family. There's one scene in the film in particular which deals with Mink Stole and Divine getting it on in a church, and inserting rosary beads into Divine's ass.
Like really doing it?
Well, you'd have to watch the movie to find out.
You can tell me.
It's on Raven Show's cue right now.
Oh yeah, I'm with Aries.
And afterwards, just pulling him out and just wiping him off. So
nice guy. This is fucking
It's a great movie, and it also has Cookie Mueller in it, and Susan Lowe. Yeah, Susan Lowe, Edith Massey, Vivian Pierce, George Figs. He plays the Eggman from Pink Flamingos.
I'm the Eggman.
And it before Pink Flamingos, this set the boundary of bad taste. This is just a truly funny, highly ambitious film. And it pays off in spades. It's just a fantastic movie, funny as hell, dirty, and also you get to see Divine get raped by Lobstora,
Jesus Christ.
which is a
monster who fought Godzilla, right?
Lobstora. It was a monster. It's weird. It has nothing to do with the plot of the film at all. None. After Divine does something, I won't say what, because that does have something to do with the plot. Because it does have something to do with the plot. All of a sudden, this giant lobster comes into the screen and just starts humping Divine. And this goes, and she's screaming, and the lobster's bouncing around all over the place, screaming for about maybe a good solid minute and a half, and then the lobster leaves, and that's it.
Did the lobster leave like 20 or something?
Yeah, he just said, hey, go get me a pizza.
Give me a tip. Just the tip.
Wow.
So, I mean, yeah, I'm jumping around all over the place, but you know what? That's what this movie does. It's really all over the place, but there is some sort of conformity about it. Not a conformity. What's the word I'm looking for?
Deformity.
No. Well, okay, let's go with that. Deformity. Sure, why not? That makes sense, actually. Definitely check this out. Pick it up at your local Walgreens, I guess. I don't know.
Walgreens. A local Walmart.
Yeah.
Can you get that on Walmart?
I don't think so. Multiple Maniacs. Highly worth
You're a
the
fucking
watch.
multiple maniac.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. All right, Ravenchild, you want to go next?
Yeah, I don't know. I can fucking cleanse that fucking palate. But I will jump on something that MZ said about the 80s. And I was always a big super team for comic books. And the 80s were flush with them. DC in particular. And when I discovered my local comic shop for the first time, going from just the newsstand to the Walden Book spinner rack to actually discovering, comic shops, I was really blown away by teams that I'd never heard of before. You had your Justice League, Teen Titans, and later on All-Star Squadron, Infinity Incorporated. Hell, even the Green Lantern Corps had a division on Earth for a while. I don't know why there was any crime on Earth in the 80s with all these fucking, gods running amok. Or why the planet even still existed. But a team that I discovered early on was Batman and the Outsiders. And there's been a lot of different versions of this team. There's a new one dropping now. Actually, today, a new version of the team came out. But I'm definitely a mark for the original.
It's Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, right?
Yes. And Pony Boy and Soda Pop.
Soda Popinski?
Soda Popinski. For those S.C. Hilton. What? Who the fuck she is? S.C. Hinton. Right. Fans. But no, I was really marked for Batman and the Outsider, especially the first issue where basically he quits the Justice League because they're afraid to, there's an international incident. Batman's buddy Lucius Fox is trapped behind this country, Markovia, and he goes to the League like, hey, we got to go in and get my boy. And the League, they're forced to not enter this conflict because of diplomatic reasons, and they're like, no, we can't go. So I'm paraphrasing, but Bruce is like, fuck you, I'm going anyway. And over the course of that story, he assembles his own team of heroes. Well, eventually, Batman tends to run people the wrong way, and he leaves the group, and the Outsiders go solo. So I've been trying to fill holes, Johnny, lately in my life, and I'm still working on it. But my local comic shop, like many, will have these bundles. They'll bundle up a bunch of issues and just sell them. So I came across a bundle of the Outsiders.
Bundle of sticks?
Bundle of sticks. No, we are... No, John. Thank you for that, though. Not distracting at all.
Okay, we're whispering to each other.
Let's go back to the lobster fucking. That was fucking riveting. We're all real fucking quiet for that. But I came across this really cool bundle of the second Outsider series on the old, they used to print it on Baxter paper, or they call it new format books, which is a thicker stock. But I came across...
from Baxter Asylum?
Yes. But no, for $20 plus my discount, so for $15, I was able to get a whole 28 issues of the series plus 2 annuals of Batman the Outsiders. And I'm such a fucking comic nerd where I pretty much have these books at my parents' house, but it's far away. And
now you say comic nerd, I say lazy. You don't feel like driving to your parents' house and digging through that room of comics.
Well, fair. No, that takes a lot of time.
Shit, what was that guy's name again?
That's Geoforce.
Geoforce. Okay, and obviously we know what happened to him later.
Geoforce, he's actually the Prince Brian. He's the brother of Terra from the Teen Titans. So they both have earth-moving powers.
Am I thinking of someone else? When Kyle became Green Lantern, was there something with him, or am I thinking of another character?
Oh, you're thinking of Major Force.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, he's the guy that put Kyle's lady friend in the refrigerator. But yeah, the team is Geoforce, and it's a very diverse team. Geoforce, Metamorpho, Black Lightning.
There's like a big stack here, by the way. If you're watching live, I'm holding the whole thing.
It's a whole bunch. It's not the best condition, but for $15, you get
I don't know,
a whole
good
lot
condition to me.
Yeah, a whole lot of shit. Katana, you might know her from Suicide Squad. Yeah. She looks much different in her original incarnation.
She looks like what's his name? Fire, the flaming.
Firestorm.
Yeah, she looks like Firestorm.
Costume-wise, yeah.
Costume-wise, yeah.
Very, very vibrant colors on the team. I like that Geoforce has a G and an F on his chest because that's fucking excellent. But no, they come across it's in the 80s, so they face the Nuclear Family, which are a bunch of nuclear powered robots.
They were in the Titans TV show.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no kidding. That's funny.
I'd never seen any comics with them, so.
Oh, really? That's cool. I gotta check that out. And even down to there's some great 80s stuff. They fight the Russians as bad guys. I have a cover right here, Johnny, which is Geoforce fighting a Russian bastard with Reagan in the background, popping in.
Well,
mommy, the superhero on something on the plane, mommy. Which is great. you know, it's definitely
Nancy,
dated.
Look, I'm in a comic.
That's nice, dear. Take your medicine.
Look at him.
He's very concerned. But pretty much Mike W. Barr, Jim Aparo, who was probably my top 5 favorite Batman artists on the book. But even like guys like Eric Larson and Todd McFarlane did some work early on for the series. So it's a lot of fun. I can't wait to kind of dive deep back into it.
It's a cool cover.
Yeah, right? The
Christmas
holiday
Carol
issue.
one, yeah.
Yeah, there's been some really cool covers. And I really dug it a lot. Listen, they've had other versions over the years. The 90s version kind of sucked, but there was a version that Nightwing took over the team in the mid-2000s. But I really enjoyed it. And like I said, it definitely takes me back to days of yesteryear. So while you really can't buy it new, these haven't been collected, but you can probably, if you're interested, check out your local comic shop. That's a great cover, too. That annual. Cool Kevin Nolan.
Yeah.
He's done some art later on. He did Superman versus Aliens, a whole bunch of Batman covers. But it was really good stuff. And Batman definitely comes back in periodically to prove that he's still a dick.
Yeah.
But yeah, highly check it out if you can find them, if you remember it. I really enjoyed The Outsiders.
All right, there you go. The Outsiders from DC Comics, 1986.
Yeah, this
or
series,
85 it started.
Yeah, this ran from 85, and I feel the last issue ended during the Millennium era. The whole, no man escapes the Manhunters. But even they face early on a government super team that are really bad. So it's stuff that you've seen some of these themes later on in comics, but they were doing it first. And the colors are definitely vibrant. There's no battle armor. It's definitely colorful comics.
Wait, are there battle packs?
Oh, definitely, yeah, Geoforce, yeah, definitely. Fucking, he's a Prince of Markovia, sir. He fucking got that going on.
All right, there you go.
Yes.
Tap number 1. What do you got up your sleeve now? Got 25 more issues?
Yes. But no, really, my number 2, I just started watching. I was turned on with
Bambaleo.
Yeah, well, I've only watched the first episode because I was so aroused by the subject matter. A beautiful lady turned me on to Legion.
Oh yeah, the X-Men.
Yeah, and
book. I've heard good things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I never liked the Legion character, David Hayler, I think.
Yeah.
And
Professor X's
son, yeah. And basically, if you don't know,
well, it's Dan Stevens that plays him.
What's he in? What's he been in before?
The Guest. He was in the Apostle.
Oh yeah.
Remember the lead in Apostle?
Yes.
Okay, I knew he looked fucking familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, the character never done it for me. He had stupid hair, and the whole gimmick is that he's all multiple personalities, has different powers, at least in the comics from what I remember. The only thing really significant with him, and I wasn't reading New Mutants when he was in the book, was he was the kind of the start of the Age of Apocalypse storyline.
Yep.
If you remember Ares, where he got his mental faculties back and wanted to go back in time and kill Magneto, except he fucked up and killed Professor X, ushering in this, like I said, Age of Apocalypse. But the show is really dope, man. I watched the pilot, and part of it does feel like an attempt to make a comic book type show before like the Marvel Netflix or even like the CW shows. But it does it really, really well, and I'm definitely gonna check out the rest of the season. And I know season 3 is dropping. And I didn't watch the trailer, but I hear they're bringing potentially Professor X and Cerebro into the mix. I'm not quite sure how that's going to happen. But, yeah, I'm definitely digging what I've watched so far. And, yeah, that dude, he's fucking great. He kills it. What's his name again?
Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevens, yeah. Yeah, he was great. So, yeah, check it out. It's still on.
All right. Aries, did you have anything?
I came up with a couple of things. I don't have any visual aids.
Show and tell.
Just a couple of things popped into my head. Popped into my phone screen as the day progressed today. I did see that someone had recreated or added to the lightsaber scene between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, and it looks absolutely amazing. Through CGI, they re-edited that scene and probably tripled the length of it. Absolutely amazing. I stumbled upon it on Facebook. A number of people have posted it. I'm sure if you just looked anywhere on the internet right now, you could probably find it. If you're any type of Star Wars fan, check it out.
Oh,
yeah. See,
Kyle Hoyt's another favorite artist of mine. Just posted
it.
Yeah.
So as I ramble on, you can just check it out. It is absolutely amazing. They took what they did for Vader in Rogue One and just added, and made it into a lightsaber fight scene.
It's if you type in SC38 reimagined. I assume it means scene 38. I don't know.
Perhaps I don't know. I stumbled upon it. I didn't do any research into it. I watched it and went, "Oh my god!"
Holy shit!
Yeah.
We're watching it in studio.
Yeah.
This is fucking dope.
I don't want to step on your double tap, Aries.
Oh no! But go if you have something to add to it.
No.
Oh.
Well,
shit!
To add to it, I hated it. It's not Star Wars. It doesn't have that feel at all. It feels like a hyper-kinetic, like action fight scene that just does not fit in the Star Wars universe.
Well, if you were to punch this into the movie, it wouldn't fit.
Right.
But taking this in and of itself, it is amazing. This is more of the modern day Star Wars.
It's a cool, like, the way it's put together. I mean, it's impressive. It's technically impressive because it's seamless. I mean, you can tell that there's definitely like some CGI that doesn't match up.
Oh yeah, there's problems with it.
Yeah, but overall, it's impressive what they did. I just as a standalone thing, like it's fine, but it definitely does not fit the Star Wars cinematic universe.
Oh yeah, I would definitely not recommend trying to punch this into the movie and watch it like that. But yeah, as a standalone thing, I think it is an amazing thing, both visually and to see what could have been with this lightsaber duel, because you're looking at essentially the first lightsaber duel, so it was very basic.
Yeah, 1977.
Yeah. I mean, and it was essentially, old guy fighting a guy in a costume he couldn't move in.
Right.
So, I mean, just to see what could have been, I absolutely love it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of disagree with John a little bit there, where, I mean, it's as, you'd see that in the prequels.
Okay.
Not the way this moves. You saw a clip of it. The whole thing's 7 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So.
And this is more along the lines of the Rogue One.
Yeah.
But even
it has that feel to it.
Here, I'll mute it, Raven Shadow, and you can watch it if you want.
All right.
But yeah, so I just kind of stumbled upon that today. So that was just kind of fulfilled my two with the other one that popped into my head. There'd been a band recently that I stumbled upon on just looking up a random comedy skit, and this band came up on a YouTube grouping of clips. I don't know why it was there. I just stumbled upon it, but I absolutely love them. They're called the Dead South. I'd never heard of them. It is not something that probably anyone in this room would like, because I seem to stand alone with my music. And they have been called, I love this description of them, Mumford & Son Evil Twin.
Okay.
Because they are a bluegrass folk type sound, but they just... something about them in the song I heard, I was in my head for 2 weeks straight. If I see if I can find a song title here.
In Hell, I'll Be in Good Company.
That's the one. Yeah, I would whistle that for 2 weeks straight, just in my head.
Here, I'll play a little bit in the background.
Yeah, and it's just the bandoms, because I've downloaded, because I discovered you can download music. You just listen to it. It's beautiful.
Thing.
Yeah, Napster.
Yeah. No, I do it legally.
LimeWire.
No, so I listened to like the whole album, and everything is really good. They're not breaking any ground like musically. Like they're not like, oh, this is the next great thing. It's just good music. If you like bluegrass folk type sound, it is just good. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming it's playing in the background right now. I don't have headphones.
Oh yeah.
Is that the whistling part? Because that's what I like.
It just ended.
All right.
So those are my taps. I don't want to ramble on like these other two motherfuckers.
Okay, no, he's got a little graspy voice, kind of like Rocky.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if Rocky knows these guys.
I mean, there's two of them that they go back and forth singing. So you get two different sounds of singing in this particular song.
They're not really similar, but there's a band I actually double tapped maybe a couple of years ago called Dead Soul. It is sort of like, it's not bluegrass at all, but it's sort of like a dark sort of rock, but it's really good. So you may dig that too, Aries. I don't know, but Dead Soul is very good.
Now, one thing I thought was funny about this band, because listening to them and hearing, Dead South, I'm thinking Alabama, Louisiana.
Right.
No, I did research. They're Canadian.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if it's South Canada or they're just trying to imply that they're from, the United States South or what, but yeah, I would not picture them Canadian.
No, I didn't see that coming. Especially that guy.
All right. So Aries got his in. I'm gonna do mine.
Oh.
And I've only watched the first 3 episodes, I think. But just dropped a week or 2 ago is the new season of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Season Dose. And it is it's fucking awesome. I don't know. I love this show. Let me let me find the season 2 trailer. I'll just play it here. Has any of you guys seen Cobra Kai at all yet?
I so wanted to, and then something happened in my life where I just had a negative memory of it before it dropped. I know that's fucking
Negative
bad.
memory? What?
Not memory, but like association. I was gonna watch it with somebody, and then that association changed.
I see.
So it's not Cobra Kai's fault.
You'll like it, man.
Yeah, no, I
saw it. Wait till you see. This is this is
season
the
2 trailer.
I did
trailer,
hear,
yep.
yeah.
Yeah, wait till you see who's in it.
I do know that.
But the real story's only just begun.
Yeah.
John Kreese.
Oh, Snoop!
Never dies.
Ever since the tournament, all I've been thinking
So
about
playing the
are ways
trailer
to
right now
destroy
for
Cobra Kai.
season 2. And for anyone who you need to have YouTube Premium to be able to watch it, but you can get a 30-day trial if you've never. Like I got the trial last year, so I couldn't get it again. So you can subscribe for $15 a month, but if you've never tried the trial, you can just get it for free for 30 days, and you can just binge it and watch all 2 seasons if you want to, if you haven't seen the first. But it's really good, and in this season they're doing a good job of, because they've established Miyagi-Do karate and Cobra Kai, so they have the 2 dojos, and they've established that they sort of have their own sort of ways of doing things. But it's cool to see. I really love the redemption of John Lawrence.
Johnny Lawrence, yeah.
Like he's still, he's still kind of lost in the 80s. Like he makes a lot of references to to the music back then, and he has sort of an older way of thinking, while Daniel San has like a little bit more forward thinking. But it's interesting just to see that dichotomy between the two, and they're not necessarily always butting heads. I mean, that's sort of what it comes down to, I guess. But it's I don't know. I just think it's really well done. It's really well written, and it's fun, and it obviously pulls on the nostalgia strings as well. So, I love what's his name? Zabka.
Billy Zabka.
Billy
Zabka. Yeah.
I love him in this. I think he's fucking awesome.
Well, he's great in everything. I mean, he's the greatest heel.
Right.
He's the best bully ever.
Yeah, he is. He really is.
But even still, he didn't want to sweep the leg.
Right, and they play with that a little bit too. Like they play with a lot of that. It's not just he's a bad guy. He you can feel that there's some redemption there in his story.
Especially when fucking what's the teacher's name?
Miyagi.
No.
John Kreese.
John Kreese was a fucking dick at the end. I know I don't subscribe to the theory. We've talked about it before.
Danielson's the villain.
Yeah, no. Johnny's an asshole. But he didn't want to fucking put him in a body bag.
Right.
Like the other fucking psychos.
Yeah.
But it was from that video that had everybody thinking, like that came out a couple years ago about how
Yeah.
if you watch it, you'll realize that LaRusso is the bully and that Lawrence is the good guy.
Well, if you think about it, every person is their own hero, right? Like,
Well, sure.
who sets out to be a villain? Like, not many people. I mean, maybe some people, but like,
Sure, but I mean, the video. I mean, when we originally watched Karate Kid, we always thought Johnny was the bad guy, Daniel was the good guy. But the video that came out about this switches that completely around and does so admirably.
Yeah, but it's kind of like those.
So much to the point where they actually brought the Karate Kid series back.
But it's kind of like those
play on that.
those trailers that change. Like they did this, didn't they do? Was it the big trailer they made into like a horror, or The Shining that they made into a comedy or whatever?
Yeah.
It's just those recut trailers that you can manipulate anything.
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
sure, but none of them have decided to bring any of those back. They've
don't think
decided
that-
to bring this back and do so with a fair amount of, believability.
There's more moral gray area between them now.
They did push a fucking kid off a bike down a hill that he probably could have died.
Stupid bike. I hate this bike. I hate this bike.
I just want to go home.
I hate it.
I just want to go home.
I hate it. I hate it.
I don't know the rules. I just want to go fucking home.
Neither does palm trees, Ma.
And
I hate this bike.
Stupid bike.
This stupid bike.
Just want to go home.
And for my second double tap, I swerved. I was going to go with what you guys would expect me to do.
Oh, fucking, who's your boy?
Devin Townsend.
Devin Townsend.
He did put out an album
I
last
know.
month. And I've been listening to the crap out of it. It's my favorite album right now. But I'm going to go with something different because I went to go see a concert last month. It was actually the night that we moved it from Wednesday to Thursday. So I think it was sometime last month. But I went to go see the band I really wanted to see was Swallow the Sun, and then open for them was Wolfheart, who I recently became familiar with. I was familiar with the singer. He was in a band called Before the Dawn, which I really dug a few years ago, and I never knew what happened to that band because they haven't put out anything in a while. But it turns out that he created this band called Wolfheart, and they've been putting out albums for the last several years. So, I had like researched because I went to when I went to the show, I wanted to find out who the opening bands were. When I looked into Wolfheart, I'm like, holy shit, this is this fucking guy that I love. So I was able to listen to some of their back catalog, and then when I saw them, they really killed it. So I'm gonna double tap Wolfheart, and their most recent album is Constellation of the Black Light from 2018, and it is it's a 7 songs, fairly short album, 41 minutes. But I'm gonna play one song. It's the last track because I feel like this gets to it a little. Like the first song is awesome, Everlasting Fall, but it's got a really long intro. So I want to get into it. So this is the name of this track is Valkyrie from Wolfheart. So very metal, very atmospheric sort of black metal, I think. But they were very good live, and I recommend anyone check them out. This is kind of this has been my go-to when I go to the gym is listening to this album and some of their other stuff as well. I've been just really listening to it. It's good music for the gym, for me anyways. So the name of the track is Valkyrie off of Constellation of the Black Light. But they utilize some like melodic elements, like you can hear in the background. There's like some keyboard, with this sort of driving heavy beat and heavy guitars, and it's definitely death kind of black metal vocals for the most part. But there's some more melodic stuff as well when they sort of get into it. I'm gonna
when the vocals kick in.
Yeah, they kick in a few seconds here, I think. So
My God.
Can you sing like that, Raven Shadow?
Yeah. Some nights, that's how my voice sounds around like Bambaleo.
I know when I went to the show and I posted on social media that I was going to see the show, our boy Luke over at the Cromcast was like, Wolfheart! So I guess he's a big fan of them.
I thought you saw Children of Bottom.
I did, but I don't really like them that much.
No, I mentioned them on our flashbacks conversation. Just throwing it out there.
Their older stuff's good. I'm not crazy about their more recent stuff.
Fair.
I went to see Swallow the Sun. That was like the band I really wanted to see, and then
I'll swallow the sun.
but then catching Wolfhard obviously was a big bonus. We sort of missed the first band. I think the name of the band was Summoner's Circle, but when the shows in Boston start at 6:30, it's a little difficult to get there in time
Really?
with traffic. Yeah.
What time to get out?
10:45 ish. So it's 4 bands. So that's Wolfhard. Constellation of the Black Light. If you're into it, check it out.
That's cool.
I dig it. All right, well, that's it for Double Taps. We do have some voicemail, though.
Nice.
And I think we do have some double taps in the voicemail.
No shit.
So let's do the one that I know is a double tap because it's labeled as such, and that would be from our boy, First Time Mike.
Nice.
What's up, Trick or Treat family? This is First Time Mike. How's everybody doing?
Good, buddy.
I got a double tap for you guys tonight. First thing I want to double tap is the superhero role-playing game called Survive This Vigilante City. It's a street-level superhero, so you're not so much playing your Supermans as your Batmans. And that's fitting because Vigilante City is very much a cartoon-inspired role-playing game, as the authors was very much inspired by Batman the Animated Series, with a nice side helping of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the classic X-Men 90s cartoon as other inspiration. So in this game, you are playing anything from a streetwise kid to a mercenary that comes back home and is trying to help clean up the streets, to your crime fighters, to more powerful beings like your people that are using power armor like Iron Man, or you're a cyborg, or they call it an anthropomorph, but basically you can play anything from like your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or your Street Sharks, or your Biker Mike from Mars. Wow. It's a very flexible, fun system. At a convention, I played in a demo of the game, and I talked to the guy who wrote one of the writers of the game, and I had a lot of fun with it. And the books for value for money, it's the PDFs are available for $10 a piece at websites such as DriveThruRPG and RPG Now. But for each book, it's like almost 300 pages full of fun things to play. And for the game master, you can have a ton of fun with this game. If you ever wanted to play a game like Batman the Animated Series, which I still consider that version of Batman one of the best ever, or even like a Gargoyles, Disney's Gargoyles, I recommend this game. It's easy to pick up, a touch crunchy with little modifiers, but once you get everything set up, it's a fun, quick play. I had a lot of fun of it. I will put a link in the fib for it. And that is Survive This Vigilante City by Bloat Games. Check it out. Also, my second part of the double tab is I first encountered it as a Roku channel, but I also, if you don't have Roku, it's also available on the Vimeo platform, and it's called OSI 74. OSI 74 is a combination of various producers and artists, led by Mr. Lobo, the gentleman that did the public access show Cinema Insomnia, which is one of the many like horror hosted movies that I first saw on public access in Milwaukee. And he has his own channel now, and it has a ton of great content by people such as Sleazy P. Martini from Guar. Has a show called Sleazy Pictures After Dark, where he watches classic movies in his own way. Various horror hosts from across the nation. There's the Church of Subgenius has some very weird, strange movies. They had this like a rare movie called the Sargasso Manuscript, which I had heard about but never seen, and that's a weird movie. But there's just a ton of fun content, and one of the reasons why I love it is it's set up like it's OSI 74, like an old-fashioned UHF station or weird cable station from back in the day. So it plays out the nostalgia values. So you're streaming the block, but it's done like there's commercials or references to other shows like you would have on your classic TV channel, and they even have clips of Jack Horkheimer Star Hustler, which if you grew up in the 80s or 90s, you remember that guy from late night PBS shows after Doctor Who or like Monty Python, and he would show you the stars, and then the Star Spangled Banner would come up, and then it was time to go to bed or do something else until the cartoons came on, or you eventually fell asleep. But it's great view product. Of the quality of the product is really good. Check it out. It's OSI 74. It's available on a Roku. According to them on Facebook, they're eventually going to get to Amazon Fire. But if you have Vimeo and like Amazon Fire or another viewing platform, if you go to Vimeo and put in OSI 74, you should get to their page. It's a nice way to spend an hour or so of fun movie watching, and it's just a lot of fun. So my double tabs today: Survive This, Vigilante City, and OSI 74. I will mention it on the fib. This is first time Mike, going on way too long tonight. You guys enjoy the rest of your night, and goodbye.
Oh, I turned my mic off because I was eating. That sounds awesome. I'm not familiar with OSI 74. Any of you guys? No. It sounds cool though. It reminds us of like the old, creature feature. Like it's sort of like, the old school Channel 38 and
you're right.
56. Yeah, 56 and stuff. So yeah, no, it sounds really cool. So I saw they're definitely on Facebook. I just looked them up. And if you guys have a Roku, and it sounds like they're coming to Amazon Fire soon. So if you guys here in studio are interested in checking out, you can do that.
Cool.
And then also Survive This, Vigilante City also sounds pretty fucking cool. It'd be awesome if, too bad we can't play a game with First Time Mike.
I know, seriously, dude. I just fucking come up, dude. Come on.
So it sounds...
Stay at my spot, baby. We got room
there you
now.
go, yeah.
New couch and golden pillow. You can sit on that.
Golden pillow.
Yeah.
Can he rest his head on the golden pillow?
Yeah, that's fine. It's freaking first time Mike.
Ollie's okay with that?
He's okay. Yeah, Ollie will share his toys.
So after the dog's ass has been on the pillow, you're gonna let someone else sleep on it.
A, he's a Bichon, okay? He's very pure.
So he doesn't have an ass?
He does, but it's very contained. It's very minute. It's very petite.
Very minute?
Yeah, it's a small little tuckus. You know what I mean? He's gonna get groomed.
Small little tuckus.
Yeah, he's a little dude. He don't
Jesus.
I know the dog doesn't care. The person with their head on that pillow might care.
I'm gonna say he's gonna put his face on it, but I mean, you know.
What do you do with pillows?
And when you're
you don't want to know.
And when you're asleep, you don't necessarily know if you're going to turn over or not, right?
Yeah, you don't know. You better turn over. No, I mean I don't know. No, first time Mike, he's all man. He can come from Milwaukee. He's fine with that. I got a pillow. I was special. I'm a first time pillow. First time Mike.
First time pillow. He'll buy a fresh pillow.
I get you a brand new one. I'll open in front of you too. It's like going to get into like fucking needles. Like, just so you know, I'm opening the pillow.
Oh shit! All right, let's continue on, and we're gonna hear from our boy Arkham Josh.
Bambaleo.
Hey, Trick or Treat Radio guys, it's Arkham Josh here. So I'm giving you a call for this week. First off, I think last week's episode, given the absence of Mars, went very well.
Thanks,
I
buddy.
think, personally, he will be missed from future episodes. But, I think you guys will be able to soldier on just fine without him. And I hope that whatever he's doing in place of this will work out well. So, on to this week's movie, Zhang Yimou's Shadow. I was looking forward to this, and I did quite like it. I do think the one thing I would tell people is to kind of maybe temper expectations a little bit, because I don't think it's as good as much of its previous work, but it is still a really good film. I thought the story was quite interesting. Yes, there are some things that seem a little bit odd, scuba packs, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
But, given the overall, light fantasy tone over the genre, I was willing to kind of go along with it. So I liked it. I would definitely say it is a treat. I'm not going to say it's a huge recommend, though. I don't know. I think there are better martial arts films out there. You guys have been covering them. He's made some. If it's a genre you're interested in, definitely check it out. If you're just looking for something entertaining, you might want to skip this one. It's a little bit slow to start, and I think if you don't know the style that's coming forth in the action scenes, then it might bore someone. I don't know. So it's not just a blanket recommend, but definitely a treat. So interested to hear what you guys all thought of it. Also, I want to comment on something from last week's show when you guys were discussing Hagazusa. Something that Monster Zero said. Now, in the past, I have been mildly frustrated as a listener because MZ will say something that sounds completely stupid or completely made up, and you guys will all give him a real hard time about it. But in reality, I know exactly what he's talking about or trying to reference it. He's just not doing it in a very good way.
Not very good.
But I felt that I needed to hop in on this one. So last week, you made a comment about the interesting look to the film and how it had a ripple effect and what you described as stagnant scenes that seem to have a mysterious movement in the background. And I'm sorry to tell you, but that is not an artistic choice on the filmmaker or an interesting filter. That is just kind of the low-level shitty image that you get in a lot of streaming and compressed files nowadays. What you were seeing was actually, a form of pixelization where it wasn't completely blocking and breaking up. It's usually most noticeable in a scene that has say a solid color background, and it'll look like there is shadowy movement in the background sometimes. That is just completely unintended. That is just a fault of the medium, because when digital files are compressed, this can happen. Or even a really high-end file over streaming, if there's any kind of fluctuation in the speeds of the streaming or anything, these are flaws that can happen. It's really kind of the bane of watching anything streamed or on digital files, because I pretty much guarantee you that if you were to see that film on Blu-ray or in a theatrical presentation, be it, let's say, DCP, or if it, just hypothetically were on film, none of that ripple effect would be there. None of that weird, shadowy movement in the background of huts and black scenes would be there. That is unfortunately just an unstable image and pixelization. So, I'm sorry. I hope that didn't disappoint you. And I hope that wasn't super rambly and crazy sounding, like a lot of the things that Monster Zero says. So, all right. You guys have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
He fucking told you.
Well, you know what? I believe him. I'll trust his judgment before I trust my own any day.
and yet, anytime anyone in this room tries to tell you something like that, we're out of our fucking minds.
Shut up. Let me talk.
Josh is a very astute, smart man.
He is.
Josh is fine. He's good.
If Raven Shadow said the same thing, shut your cock holster.
Yeah.
If Raven Shadow said the same thing, we would all be in shock.
I said the same thing.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
I would have, but
If you were actually here that episode, no, the wind episode, that was your that was your decoy. That was your shadow.
Oh yeah,
the shadow.
See, I was smart.
Michael
now.
Shadow.
Not like everybody says. No, I'm having fun with you, but no, I know what he's talking about now. He
There you
filled
go.
in.
Josh fucking schooled us.
He's fucking smart.
Well, schooled MZ rather.
Yeah.
All right, Josh.
Hey, I thought it was part of the filmmaking technique. I didn't know it. Look,
Gave
I don't
the
know
director
that.
more credit than he was deserved.
I don't know that much about when it comes, to streaming because really I hate streaming. I like physical media.
California streaming.
On such a winter's day.
California streaming.
On such a winter's day.
Wow.
How about that?
All right, so we got another voicemail, and this is from FTM again. He's going to talk
you.
about some folk horror.
What's up, Trick or Treat family? This is first time Mike. A little bit about folk horror. I was going to record this last week, but I had jury duty, and so
guilty.
I really enjoyed the show. The Wicker Man, great movie, and the mention of Blood on Satan's Claw. I remember first seeing that in Elvira, and it's still one of those movies that hold up even today because there's a really creepy atmosphere in that movie that some of the higher budget movies can't really get. Now, my little thing on folk horror is I wanted to add Pumpkinhead to the discussion because Pumpkinhead is a great monster movie, but it also has a lot of the trappings of classic folk horror. There's the conflict between the modern age and the timeless ways of the backwoods. This time, instead of being in rural England and like around the Appalachians or the South, and you have a lot of the trappings, the aggrieved parent, the old conjure woman in the backwoods that knows the secret of summoning somebody to avenge what happened. And there's a price for this vengeance to be paid, and the being summoned, there are connections that are revealed, and you see the results of the vengeance continues the cycle. I don't want to give away Pumpkinhead. It's if you haven't seen it, why haven't you seen it? It's a great movie. But Pumpkinhead has a lot of the folk horror type trappings as well. Blood, the land, consequences, and calling upon the old ways that a lot of people consider forgotten, but are always, just in the back to ready to be used. And again, like I said, there's always a price to be paid for using the old powers. But that was my little thought on folk horror. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right.
Yeah.
That's I actually haven't seen Pumpkinhead in a super long time, so I didn't even think of it in those terms. But I mean, the way first time Mike lays it out, he's a smart man. Makes
I'm
sense.
not a big fan of Pumpkinhead though.
No, I'm not either. It
The
was one of
monster's
those
cool,
ones.
but the story just isn't very riveting.
It was one of those movies that you saw it in the pages of Fango, and you're like, oh my god, this movie's gonna be fucking awesome.
Right.
So like its reputation is already like this far exceeds anything, and then when you actually see it, it's like, it's okay. The creature design's great. Was it Rick Baker? Did Pumpkinhead?
Stan Winston.
Stan Winston. Okay. It's
Who also directed it.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. It's great monster design, but yeah, the movie just doesn't deliver on what you'd hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a good point though. And he obviously had discussed some others that you mentioned, MZ, Wicker Man, and Blood on Satan's Paw. So Claw.
Yeah.
I was looking at something else. Blood on Satan's Paw. And that's Oliver.
Yes.
He got blood on the golden pillow.
No, he wouldn't do that.
That's oh my god, that sounds like a fucking giallo. Blood in the golden pillow.
It does.
Can we make that?
I think that's both like a Patreon.
Is that
Let's make it
Patreon
happen.
exclusive?
Yeah. Always ready for his close up. Oh, he's being a giallo. He would like that.
He would like that.
He would like to be in a giallo.
A gelatinous giallo.
Yeah. Oh, we could film it. We could red lights.
Get some gels, some red gels.
Oh, we'll get everything.
All right, we got one more voicemail, and this is from nobody's son in this room, Pabst.
Oh.
Hey guys, it's Paps. Just calling in this week. So I recently went to the theater and I saw the new Hellboy movie. Now, as a disclaimer, I am a pretty big fan of the books. couple years ago, I decided to kind of take the plunge into them, and just like absolutely fell in love. Like really, like kind of kicked myself for not getting into it sooner, and it like very, very, very quickly shot right up to being, one of my all-time favorite like comic series of all time. I just absolutely fucking love it. So going into this, I was a little wary, and I have to say, that movie has been getting a lot of hate that I do not think is deserved.
Okay.
Granted, I will go on record saying this is not a perfect movie. This is not an amazing movie. This movie has plenty of flaws. However, I think the critics are being unreasonably harsh on this movie, almost just because it's not Ron Perlman and it's not Guillermo del Toro, and that's what people want, But I thought that what's his name? David Mitchell, I think. The guy who did like The Descent and everything, the director. I think he did a great job. I really
Neil
enjoyed the
Marshall.
movie. I had a ton of fun with it, and like being a fan of the comics, it was really cool to see some of those scenes like brought to life, like pulled right from the fucking pages. I thought that David Harbour, I thought he was a great Hellboy. I liked that he didn't just try and rest on the laurels of Ron Perlman. He kind of made the character his own a little bit. I thought he looked really, really awesome. I loved the design in it. The creature effects in that movie were fucking incredible. Whether it was practical effects or whether it was CGI, like I thought they looked fantastic. I like that, the movie was, fairly self-aware, and like while there was some really fucking dark parts of that movie, there was also a lot of like kind of like levity, and they didn't try and take themselves too super serious. Man, like I was saying, I have to say, like, the creature effects were my favorite fucking part of it. Guillermo del Toro sets the bar pretty fucking high, but I thought that this movie did a great job. I thought that it opened up for sequels that I would love to see be made. I would hope that they would kind of learn from the shortcomings. But yeah, man, I dug it. I think 12% on Rotten Tomatoes is fucking bullshit. I give it like a 60. It's not amazing. Not fantastic, but it's an enjoyable ride, and I had a blast. And I'm running out of time, and peace.
That was good. He always manages to do that. Fits it right onto the wire in 3 minutes. So awesome, Paps. Thanks for your for your thoughts on that. I wanted to see it. I didn't get a chance. I have a feeling it's probably gone from theaters, or at least like one showing a day or something.
Probably, like I said, when we saw Avengers.
Yeah.
It had 9:30, either AM or PM show.
Oh, probably
and that was
PM,
it. Yeah. And I agree with him. I've not seen it yet, but I think a lot of the backlash is because it's not Del Toro.
Yeah, I mean, what are people expecting? It's Hellboy. Like, it's it's not going to be a fucking cinematic, like, it's not going to be like Shadow, this beautiful fucking piece of art. It's Hellboy.
Yeah, and while I did enjoy the Del Toro films,
yeah, me too.
And I love Ron Perlman's performance, and I love the whole cast. It's not the definitive Hellboy movies for me either.
Sure.
I've not read all the material. I probably read the first 2 or 3 trades. I do have his first appearance from John Byrne's X-Men from back in the day. And Paps, too, if you dig Hellboy, I don't know if you checked out, I forget what it's called, but there's a team-up between Batman, Hellboy, and Jack Knight Starman.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
That's pretty dope, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I whatever reason, they didn't bring the band back together, and I think it's just being shelled. But I do want to see it. I am curious. It's got my man from Deadwood in it.
Oh, yeah, Ian McShane.
Ian McShane is fucking great. So, yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but I believe it's very good.
So there you go. Yeah, I'm curious to check it out. So, Hellboy from Neil Marshall. All right.
Did you see Dog Soldiers too?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good fucking pedigree, right?
Yeah, real good. Dog Soldiers, The Descent. What was that movie he did with the... Shit, what was the one after The Descent?
Oh.
Descent 2.
No.
Oh.
That one movie with...
it was like
I think Malcolm McDowell's in it.
No, it's not the one I'm thinking of. I'll look him up because it's going to drive me crazy.
It's just a way we can figure out how to do this.
I saw it in theaters.
Yeah. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Doomsday.
That's it.
Yeah. And then
that was on just last week.
It was on? On what?
Stars.
Oh.
It was on Stars.
Well, it's on anywhere if you have a fucking physical disc of it. And then he did Centurion after that, which I hadn't seen. Has anyone seen Centurion?
No.
And then he did a bunch of TV after that. He did Black Sails, Game of Thrones, Constantine, Hannibal. He did a segment from Tales of Halloween, Westworld, Lost in Space TV show, and now he's back in film. He's rumored to be doing Skull Island, Blood of the Kong.
Oh.
And he's in pre-production on a film called The Reckoning.
Cool. Yeah.
Which is nothing. I don't know anything about it. So, yeah, no, he's a good director. He does. He actually. I don't know if have you guys seen Game of Thrones? Anyone?
I'm still on the red wedding, dude.
You may have seen this from 2012, but he did Blackwater, and The Watchers on the Wall were his 2 episodes.
That sounds familiar.
And they were both battle heavy, if I recall correctly. So, cool. Well, thank you, Pabst, and that is gonna do it. It's gonna wrap things up for the show. And we'll go around the room, starting with MZ.
Arrivederci, douchebags.
All right, Rave Chattel.
Live fast, love hard, die with your mask on. Fuck off, Aries. Fuck yourself, Johnny, too.
I couldn't hide my shit-eating grin.
Yeah, no, you didn't fucking go.
Behind that big beard.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Normally, first-time listeners, that's not how we do it usually.
No, that is actually. You never went last on the outros.
No, but I went after Aries.
Oh, now you feel
so now you feel you're better than me.
Yeah.
No, I just feel that we sit in a certain formation.
Yeah, and he moved.
And it's fucking up. It's fucking up my equilibrium.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for us on episode 354. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Once again, patreon.com/trickortreatradio. Our new Patreon is live today as of the recording of this, and we already have a few patrons supporting us. We really appreciate you guys. What I want to do is for the month of May, I would love to hit our first goal, if not our second goal. I would be very appreciative. And once again, if you do buy into our Patreon, if you help us out on the Patreon, you will be entered into a contest where you could. Aries, you drive me nuts with the fucking moving the mic.
See what he's doing? See what he's doing? Didn't do that when he was over here.
So for everyone who helps support the Patreon in May, you'll be in the running to win a Trick or Treat Radio prize pack. And we'll announce some more stuff as we continue to go on. But we'd appreciate if we could get a bunch of patrons on that right away and help support the show so that next month we can pay for all of the normal regular fees that we have. So we would appreciate it. So thank you guys. And I guess that's it, right? So from all of us here at Castle Wolfenstein. Oh, next week we're doing Climax. Gaspar Noé's Climax.
No Way film.
Yes. So we'll see you next week.